Hello, everyone, and welcome back to SpeedGaming. Today we've got the second SpeedGaming Live Online 2022 tournament for the OOT Randomizer Qualifier number 2 here. I'm starting with me is Tobias, and how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to this qualifier. Super excited to see which runners we are featuring today. Fabio and Cariosa certainly should be an interesting pairing. But overall, we have 23 runners playing this qualifier, I think. So not only do we have top runners on screen, we have a bunch of talent in this race room and looking to score qualifier points. I'm excited. How about you?
I'm excited as well. It should be a good one. We've got ourselves two of our international community members today. Yesterday we had one of our American community members. Today we've got Fabio, who is from Chile, and Cariosa, the season 5 winner. Sorry, season 6 is coming up from France, so it should be a fun one. Both excellent runners. Fabio also from the both previous seasons of Challenge Cup and the main tournament. So looking forward to a good race here between the two and with everyone else.
Mm-hmm. And we are starting today with Bolero as our free song and with the Light Medallion, which is not great, considering our runners need to pick up the three spiritual stones as well as the Spirit and Shadow Medallion to finish this seed. But we'll see what the randomizer has in store for us. We will be getting started in just about a few seconds here. There we go!
It'll spawn in the on the ranch silo. Okay, game. That is, I think, a heart piece in the silo. I think that was a heart piece. Saw something kind of bluish and clear. And both yes, it is the Light Medallion again, as we find Nocturne in the crater.
Alright, okay, at least relatively easy access to the Spirit Temple and to Kakariko.
Gonna head straight for CAC now, which is, let's see, Hidden in the Graveyard.
And Valley. Both of them look dead to me. Yep.
I saw that it was dead. I dismissed the actual location. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely Valley. So this is one of the new dual sometimes hints that we could just see. Instead of just hinting one item, we can see both. Or we can see two items in a single location.
Indeed. Thank you also for the reminder that Fabio did just win the new Triforce Splits tournament in the main bracket, something I'd also forgotten. Too much going on at once. Yeah, with fantastic high-level runners here. Should be a good one. We've got a good turnout today as well. Yesterday was a little small at 14. Today we've got 23, which is nice.
Good point of comparison as well for these runners, just to see who else they might be facing in the tournament brackets. So, I mean, everyone always has their off days, but it will give them a first look at what the competition might look like. Well, both runners now racing Dampe, as you do when you show up in Graveyard.
Yep. I mean, may as well. 2 early checks. No real reason not to do this. It was actually a proposed dual sometimes hint for this tournament, but people weren't really a fan. Some people like to skip them, but it's just such an early check. But
skipping Dampe is not recommended in this particular seed.
Not at all, considering your lighters are on it.
We go back to the graveyard for Shield Grave, as well as to pick up some money. Looks like looks like Fabio is probably going to buy, or aiming to buy a shield, whereas Cariosa doesn't look too interested. Time for some early Kakariko checks. It's, for those who might not be as familiar with OOT Randomizer, this is a location that you nearly always see runners check very early on, because it is a bunch of checks that you can do without any specific equipment. So they are available in what we call Sphere 0. And Cariosa pulling Din's Fire out of Impa's Cow Cage, so already worth it to check here.
Indeed, Fabio just behind. There's also a song here in the windmill. Typically, could be an item like yesterday.
Yep, one of the song checks. Yeah. One of the song checks. Oh, that's a bomb bag in the windmill.
Ooh, that's nice. But yes,
we shall take that.
Since we start with the Prelude of Light to help with overworld movement in the settings, there will be an item randomly replacing a song check as we find Song of Time in the windmill, I think that was.
That is correct.
But one of the song checks will be replaced by an item. Which one that is, we don't know, but we'll find out. But there will be one. Yesterday there was a bow on the song check.
A tournament that uses pretty similar settings to this one is the Scrubs tournament. What they have decided to do instead is to set the dead song to always be Burning Cack. So the vanilla Nocturne check. A bit more newbie-friendly, that setting, but in SGL, what we see, and Carrios are not punished for collecting rupees, as we can see. But in SGL, we're going with, that is the second copy of the Valley Hint. We're going with all song locations that could potentially have a song, just one of them randomly will be an item.
They disabled the Burning Cack check. Yeah, okay, VXR, that what I figured. Thank you. For Scrubs, that is.
That's what I meant, sorry, if that wasn't clear. Yeah, Scrubs tournament decided to disable Burning Cack, make it basically a always be a blue rupee if you end up checking it. Did Cariosa just skip checking Rufio?
I am not sure.
I think Favio is being a bit more thorough here in Kakariko, whereas Cariosa is carrying that bomb bag straight into Dodongo's Cavern.
Yes, he is. Also an early game area with a lot of dense checks, as we find Kakariko is way of the hero.
Water still wet.
Indeed. Kakariko, as mentioned, has a lot of very early checks, generally, and some later game checks, too. Though it is very frequent that there is something in there that is required to beat the seed, which is what Way of the Hero hints refer to for those who are new to OOTR. Way of the Hero hints tell you that something in that region is logically required to beat this seed. So that very well could be Din's Fire in this case. Could be Song of Time, that's a bit rare, but it's not impossible. The game does like to do that sometimes. And it could be something we haven't seen yet.
So just to be sure, if I recall correctly, in SpeedGaming we use chest size and texture matches content, correct? Cool. That means it's time to get excited whenever we see a big chest, because that is going to be some sort of unique item. It might not necessarily be required to beat the seed, but it certainly has the chance to be. Just a purple rupee atop Dodongo's Cavern. Didn't see that earlier.
So far, just the Cack Way of the Hero hint, which at the moment doesn't tell us much. We don't know what our Mastona Medallion layout is. So in Ocarina of Time Rando, you can change the your win conditions to beat the game, which will typically involve three things. The Rainbow Bridge to get to Ganon's Castle, whether or not there are any trials enabled, and how to get to Ganon's Castle boss key. 6 Medallion Bridge and no Ganon's Castle boss key is the most common racing win condition. Very, very few racing tournaments use trials of any kind, and in fact we do have those disabled. But however, with us today, in SGL, we will have the 3 Spiritual Stones for the Rainbow Bridge, and the Ganon's Castle boss key is on the later cutscene, behind the Shadow and Spirit Medallions. DC's really not looking like there's anything in here right now.
No, it seems to be pretty well foolish. We'll see.
Yeah. And thank you for the reminder that the bomb bag could also be Way of the Hero in CAC.
Oh yeah. Din's Bombs or Song of Time. Plenty of Way of the Hero items.
And there's still a lot of checks left too.
Haven't seen chickens.
But to that point though, Din's Fire is typically to that point though, since there are several unrequired medallions, the Forest, Fire, and Water medallions, if Shadow Temple is one of those, and Din's Fire is the Way of the Hero item in CAC, we're a bit concerned, because Din's Fire is not logically required for a lot, the most notable of which is, in fact, the, well, getting into Shadow Temple.
Yep. Other checks that Dinsfire is required for would be the item, or Dinsfire could be required for the item in the Composer's Grave, or it could be required for Haunted Wasteland. Both of these require a flame source, a fire source, to access them. Not necessarily Dinsfire, it could also be for fire arrows.
Yeah. Oh, here's a big
Speaking
chest,
of big
finally.
chests,
We have a wallet.
a wallet.
Thanks, game.
Well, not exactly the most useful item. So wallets unlock a few things. Wallets can unlock a Goron tunic, a Zora tunic, or blue fire, which do each unlock some checks. And logically, for example, a Goron tunic would be required to go deeper into Fire Temple. But if you have something like 6 hearts of health, you don't really need those tunics anymore, because you have enough time, basically, before the burn timer or drown timer runs out, that you can do those checks without a tunic.
Yep. 6 hearts is mentioned is generally sufficient for top runners like these two. Though they of course are not disappointed to get more, though it is unlikely to get a great deal in chest appearance matches content, since hearts and heart pieces are all in small chests.
Speaking of tunics. Well then, I guess we don't need that wallet.
Speaking of tunics. And okay, thanks to the fire medallion.
Not exactly a required dungeon, the Dongo Scabbard.
No. The wallet and tunic back-to-back is funny, but other than that, DC really didn't give us anything else.
Well, it did give us a nice viewing sample of how these important chests look like.
There is that, as it goes back to do more of CAC. But yeah, for a CAC Wave the Hero, we have found 3 items so far that could be it. Song of Time, Bomb Bag, and Dinsfire. Dinsfire, as mentioned, is typically for Shadow Temple entry. It could be for the Wasteland, Composer Grave, Spirit Temple, Key Logic, and I did see that. Alright, never mind. Let's discuss more of that later.
DC,
DC, Fire. Oh, great. Fire
Shadow Spirit.
So, DC gave us nothing but stuff for Water Medallion Fire. That's amazingly helpful. Water, Forest, and Job were 3 stones in some order.
Well, I mean, Dinsfire definitely Way of the Hero in Kakariko to give us access to Shadow Temple. That is very required.
There is that. It could also be the Bomb Bag. Song of Time is possible, but yeah. What I was going to mention, Tobias, as well, is that Dinsfire can be required for other torches that you don't think about as often.
Oh yeah,
I
like
saw
in
a seed
Temple.
a couple weeks. Yeah, I had a seed a couple of weeks back where they. I forget where they logically about like 5th last location item, but see, Child Spirit is a small key and a boss key.
Okay.
Skull Mask is dead. Well is Way of the Hero, and
Death Mountain, Death Mountain Crater is foolish. I think it was Death Mountain something, either DMC or DMT. I am pretty sure it was Crater.
Our trackers have noted it as Crater as well. Thank you. So that's a good hint.
VXR says DMT. Well,
okay, DMT makes more sense, because we did see Nocturne in the Crater, and that cannot be foolish.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Be a bit problematic if it were.
Then the seed would be broken. You're right. Yeah, DMT makes much more sense. Cool.
There's
a hook shot on child shooting. Cool.
But yes, Tobias, I saw a recent seed where one of the last location checks was in fact Water Temple torches for I forget what.
Oh god.
It did not actually end up being that. I think it ended up being someplace else equally stupid, but it was that. The Forest Temple checkerboard room, because the ice switch covered in ice checks for the ice melting and not for the eye itself. Seed is OOT is a brilliantly coded game, as we find a bomb bag here, and Wood's target is dead.
Yep. Alright,
that is a bomb bag for the moment.
we would need a we would need 2 strength upgrades or a hammer to put that into logic without bombs. So yeah, whoops. Luckily, that water bottle was closed.
Yep. But yeah, Tobias, that was Black Seed involving water temple torches, the forest checkerboard, and some other absolutely silly checks. The solution was also something exceptionally stupid that I forget right now.
Always fun when that happens. Like Shadow Trial 2 is dead.
What it actually ended up being was Din's for letter in the back of Stone Shadow because it was Dungeon ER.
You. Oh no.
Yeah, because I think we knew that Din's Fire was Wave the Hero, but we couldn't figure out what, and the list of oh no, they were last locationing stuff turned up late, and there was like nothing left besides stuff behind Din, so it's like, what's it for, and what's even left? The question. And the options all sucked.
The answers were all not good. Cool.
You know it's bad when you're debating water temple torches of all places with Dins as they find Sunsong off Malin.
So interesting divergence here. Market Way of the Hero, good to know for Cariosa. Cariosa staying adult a while longer, whereas Fabio staying adult a while longer, while Cariosa choosing to go child and do the what I can only assume is the 3-song route, and horseback archery is dead completely.
Yep. Market Way of the Hero most likely for that hook shot, especially considering Water Temple is in fact a stone. Not a particularly useful hit, but okay, game, sure.
Now we'll medallion check for Fabio.
Deku Tree now for Cariosa, which not required, but is the forest medallion, and will give us another song, which is good because our current song collection is not very good.
No, we would like to see Zelda's Lullaby so we can finish the temple. Requiem would be nice to get to the desert.
Just a bit, as they find Shadow Trial 2 as a heart container.
We already got that hit tracked, yeah, but second copy of that near the Deku Tree. And now Fabio, hot on the heels of Cariosa, choosing to do a few more checks as an adult that Cariosa is probably going to do in Lost Woods as a child.
Those two reading the Child Spirits hymn almost at the same time in different locations. Thank you for the reminder that they will need Requiem to finish Spirit Temple.
Yep, as I said, Requiem would be very nice to get to the desert. Epona would be very nice to get to the Gerudo area.
Yes, it would. Ooh, big chest.
Let's see, what do we have here? A bow!
Okay.
Very welcome.
You do need one of those to beat the seed.
So, doing Deku Tree, even if it's not a required dungeon as such, I think is almost is very common play with Open Deku. So with not needing Kokiri's sword for Deku Tree, I mean, in this case, it gives us a forest medallion and thus another song as well.
Yeah,
but also
BGS.
Yeah, Bigoron sword. Whoops, that wasn't a plan.
No, that was not, as we find Lens game is
chest game dead. Yep. But also, Deku Tree is such a huge amount of checks in a very quickly doable dungeon. In a dungeon that's very quickly doable, it's almost always worth the time investment. It was what, like I think 8 checks, 7 or 8, in very quick succession. Almost always has something useful.
Yep.
Alright.
Market Way of the Hero, entirely non-helpful hint. Bowling isn't all that helpful either, apparently. Let's see what's here for Curiosa.
Not interested in the place. So Compass Room completely, well, not dead, but only giving small chests. Cariosa not interested in those. Let's see, the basement has another big chest.
Fourth Medallion Deku looking like it might pay off. Bow is certainly good. We'll see if anything else here is worth it. That bomb bag is not.
I mean, this is one of those seeds that
it's
just...
not Way of the Hero in the windmill, I guess, but it really doesn't tell us anything else.
This is one of those seeds that just tells you, here, have some explosives. Have all of them, in fact.
Yep, all 3 bomb bags. 19 minutes in. Thanks, game.
Yep.
Small chest, and a hint here for Fabio that... Oh, great!
Oh, great! Well, I guess we're doing Fire Temple. Burning Cack.
I guess we're... And Deku, too, but yes, Burning Cack is Zelda's Lullaby. They need...
And we have just learned that it's basically all dungeons.
Yep, because they started with the Light Medallion, and it's all dungeons again. Yesterday was the same.
Star...
Yes?
We need to talk about what buttons you push on that randomizer. Or how you push that button. I don't know. Anyway, that is Cariosa done with Deku Tree.
Yep.
Let's see if Goma has anything left for us. Just a Deku Nut. So, Cariosa is probably headed into Lost Woods next, and to Sacred Forest Meadow. Because that gives us another song, as well as a few checks that are child exclusives. And wait, what? Oh, Horseback Archery. That was a Horseback Archery copy in Kokiri Forest. Cariosa not turning left here, not interested in the Deku salesman near the bridge.
He might be hoping to do the other checks in the area and then Sunsong out of there.
Yeah, he needs some more money anyway. He only has 20 rupees at the moment.
There is that as well, because you do need 40 bucks to pay that one off. Yeah, DC's usefulness has gone up notably now that we know that CL is required on Burning Cack. Yay. Gabe really loves to do that, be mean.
Yeah, this is an all-dungeon seed. 4 song locations. Hey, okay, another Sphere Zero bow in Lost Woods on the Ocarina minigame.
Yeah, okay, so Deku not required for items, required for the medallion, and nice to have, I guess, that we have 2 bows and BGS and all 3 ball bags already. Sure.
Speaking of big chests, oh wait, we've seen this from Fabio, I think.
This was double defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deku Tree giving us stuff that turns out to not be technically required, but is very nice quality of life, I guess, to have 3 bomb bags and 2 bows, 22 minutes in.
Yeah, and a hookshot as well.
Yep, I was referring to the items that were in Deku, which is a bomb bag, a bow, and the BGS as well. The Gorons are never logically useful for anything currently, I believe, but is good to have.
It is helpful, we'll put it this way. It makes fighting certain bosses and enemies a lot more consistent, quicker, easier. For example, Iron Knuckles, and most bosses like Phantom Ganon or Twin Rova, who just need some amount of damage, and Big Goron Sword helps. Fabio and Cariosa could certainly do without. It's nice to have. Okay. Both runners doing ground jumps here to skip the Deku Tree basement. Another option would be a setup known as B1 skip. Mostly useful for when you do Deku Tree very early. And will and that would basically involve some pretty precise backflips and side hops. Planting a bomb and using the ground jump is a lot easier here. So what's our song in Sacred Forest Meadow? It is a Minuet of Forest.
Alright, more not immediately helpful songs. Cariosa's gonna presumably read the hints here as adult because he is out.
Probably will.
I was surprised he didn't, read the hints right there just in case it tells you Skull Mask is a hookshot or something, but go figure.
He wants those two songs, is my assumption. He will probably Minuet, then read the hints, then play. Also, he will get his song from the Temple of Time cutscene just now, and will probably be hoping for a lot more mobility and the opportunity to go grab more songs, grab more items. Let's see. Pona's song. Cool.
Okay, starting to get some more useful songs. Fabio had a bit of trouble with Goma, so ended up doing a 2-cycle on her. Big shoutouts by there to Fabio, one of the community's best keyboard players.
Yep.
Fabio is one of several runners in the community, as we find Sorry Saga Mini.
Okay.
Sure, Gabe. Okay, I guess they just switched places.
And Cariosa, not interested in the hints, wants to get into Forest Temple immediately.
And check the courtyards and then maybe read the hints. Okay, he has gotten a decent number of hints, but you still want to find your remaining always hints. Haven't seen any of 30 Skulls Big Goron or Frogs 2, and missing 2 Way of the Heroes and 2 Foolishes. We have gotten almost Lover sometimes hints, though, because that's how the seed's going, apparently. But yeah, Fabio's one of several excellent runners in the community who play on keyboard and do a very, very good job of it. FMZ Gun is another, as is Alfalfa Field, both also main tournament alumni as well as top performers in other tournaments.
Let's see what we get in the Lost Woods. Oh, that's useful information. And Kokiri Swords from the Lost Woods Bridge State Salesman. Well, not particularly useful. It's, as you might have noticed, our runners have been using Deku Sticks to great effect to fight their way through the seed as a child. That being said, Kokiri's sword at least useful for not having to constantly manage how many Deku Sticks you have. Two small keys early on in Forest Temple. That is not what Cariosa wanted to see, I think. Considering he can't finish the temple at the moment. So in a vanilla game, you are not supposed to be able to hookshot those vines that Cariosa is about to grab. But with a pretty forgiving setup, a backflip and a neutral roll, you are in just the right position to reach those vines with a hookshot.
Fabio, realizing he does not actually have enough money to go pay the scrubs off in that grotto there, so is gonna take him $5 here.
I think Cariosa skipped the Wolfos grotto here as well, right?
Think so? Could be wrong, as he finds another key.
Forest Temple just front-loaded with all those keys.
Yep.
So, obviously the boss key could be anywhere in Forest Temple, because that is the first item, the literal first item that the randomizer places in any dungeon. But other than that,
And Curiosa's out again. No minuet. No reading the SFM hits. Okay, where is he going?
Seems to be
Now
making a... I'm thinking he might be either playing for an early play for GTG, Gerudo Training Ground, or he's looking to make a loop around Hyrule Field. But I think GTG is the more likely option with Epona in pocket.
He is known to make some riskier plays. It's one of the ways he's been performing as well as he has. It is interesting as you find 30 skulls instead. Alright. Let's see what these things are that Curiosa has decided to skip for now. He will get Boulder of Destiny, which is going to tell him that Burning Cack is ZL. Bit of a pause.
Yeah. Wait. Ugh. All dungeons.
Second copy of Way of the Hero for Fabio, and this is the other HBA copy. Alright, not the worst. No, not the greatest, hence not the worst. Yeah, but Curiosa is like, wait, really? Just the double take and the what did I just read? Not forgetting Tectite Grotto, this is one of the most easily forgotten checks in the game because it's just so far out of the way. This scrub is a scam, selling arrows for your money, no thanks.
Yep, makes the Tectite Grotto requires either gold scale or iron boots to grab, and that is a long shot. We will be back.
We will definitely be back. Also, your eyesight is far better than mine because I thought there was some arrows.
I am definitely. I am 99% sure that I saw the long shot, but chat may contradict me on that.
Yeah, at least the Burning Kakin is available early at Boulder of Destiny, considering, you know, they got all 3 bomb bags already.
Yep. And I mean, knowing it's all dungeons early isn't the worst thing. It means if you have the items to finish a dungeon.
Big
we haven't seen that one yet.
Curious has skipped it. It's a bottle. Okay.
Knowing it's all dungeons early is actually pretty helpful, because it means if you have the items to beat a dungeon, you just do it.
Yep. VXR confirming in chat, it's definitely long shot. Thank you.
Awesome.
OT is Requiem. Thanks.
Oh, wow! This isn't kind.
So we're definitely not beating Spirit until we get the 3 stones. Great. Thanks, game.
Well, that gives us some information about how to route the seed. We will want to be done with Water, Forest, or Jabi before we even look at Spirit Temple.
Presumably Spirit's also going to be largely useless as Fabio gets his bonus song. We don't even know where strength. We don't know where any strength upgrades are either to get into Spirit, as we find Big Oron is useless. Which makes sense because DMT is foolish too. Fabio's gonna check out the Forest Temple courtyards now, which we know from Curiosa are entirely useless.
Yep.
There was a couple keys and nothing else of note in it. The scrub is also... at least it gives you a bit of a refund, I guess, but not much else.
A refund for the scams that his scrub's colleague pulled. You pay him 10 rupees, he gives you 50. Ah, well. Curiosa doesn't seem to be too interested in heading for the lake. Oh, he does. So he's headed to Lake Hylia now. Going to check out what's on top of the lab. No, he's not. We don't have free Scarecrow, I think.
We do.
We do. Well then, we're going to check out what's on top of the lab, as well as check what's on adult fishing.
And we'll get at least one hint here as well. Probably won't do the back lake hints if you skip the SFM ones, but he'll do the one by the lake lab, I think.
We'll see.
But I've got free Scarecrow for quality of life. I'll have to route all the way out to Child Lake just to get the Scarecrow in these settings.
And I do agree with Mera that free Scarecrow is one of my favorite settings as well. Certainly like to see it in race settings more often. Nothing on top of the lab, nothing, and Curiosa foregoing, in fact, the hint near the lab. Let's see what adult fishing has for us. What is my brain doing?
Not sure, but it happens. Minor aiming issues with Fabio. Can be a little finicky on the keyboard, though. There are some impressive feats of aiming I've seen be pulled off by our keyboard players. FMZ Gun, one of the other top-level keyboard players, actually managed to win a Season 4 tournament race by pulling off pixel shots on a keyboard, which was quite something to see.
Dang!
Pixel shot, for those who are not familiar, is a nickname for a very precise, as the name implies, trick in the Fire Temple to bypass the need for a scarecrow to get up to one chest and a couple of sculptulas. Typically you need scarecrow and a hookshot to get there, but you can, with some very precise positioning, use longshot and hit just the right couple of pixels. I think it's a couple and not one exactly, but it's very tight. And it's precise even for controller players, so I was quite impressed to see FMZ pull it off. We won't be seeing that in these settings since Free Scarecrow is on, but it is an interesting trick to see people do it.
Certainly. We are probably going to see more of things like Pixel Shot in other competitions like the OOTR League that is currently happening. I think they have Free Scarecrow. And a few other competitions in the community that are going on besides. But for now, Cariosa checking out the Hammered Rocks chest in Gerudo Valley and seeing that it is a small chest, and is now, as we expected, headed into the Gerudo area for what is most probably a GTG play. He can do everything.
Song of Time was in Way of the Hero Cac, we have Hookshot, we have Bow, we have Bombs. Basically, why not? About the only thing he doesn't have that he'd like for here is Strength 2, and who knows where that's gone off to, so...
Yeah, there is 22 checks in Gerudo Training Ground, or 23. I'm not quite sure of the exact number.
You're counting keys in that. Without
yes,
keys.
that's what I'm about to say. 9 of those are keys. And
the other 13 are items.
And 5 of those he can't currently do. Because he doesn't have Iron Boots and he doesn't have Strength 2. So, not too bad a bet to make.
Fabio is selling bugs for some money. I'm trying to figure out why right about now.
I am not sure. I don't think Cariosa has seen the horseback archery dead hint.
He did not. I thought he did. Kokiri Force and SFM. Well, he definitely did read the SFM copy. Not sure if he read the Kokiri copy. In any case, he's doing it. Cariosa has deliberately skipped the SFM hints. Yep, and there he is. Cariosa checked the SFM songs and hasn't been back, and didn't do anything else in it. So he does not have that copy, but he does. I thought he had the Kokiri copy, which he evidently does because he remembered.
I am going to ascribe that to pure muscle memory here.
Yep, Fabio getting a purple rupee off the adult shooting gallery, which, as a side note, that is the randomized item since he does have a bow. But because OOT is a well-coded game, and the original developers took a boatload of shortcuts in coding things, the child shooting gallery does not require a slingshot, but the adult shooting gallery does require a bow to receive the randomized item. If you don't have a bow, that guy gives you $50.
Every single time. Big chest on top of Gerudo. Oh, well, that is convenient.
Speaking of strength upgrades they didn't have.
Oh, now they have one more of them.
If they find a second, that could be helpful.
Yeah, makes it very, or pretty good chance even that there might be one of those in Gerudo Training Ground, which would enable Cariosa to basically full clear the place.
Yep. Alright, 2 keys in the lobby, as we've got big clues for Fabio with that model he got. Or was that just 1 key in the lobby? I might have just ID'd.
Since Cariosa only picked 1 chest, I'm going to assume it was just 1 key.
That's what I was thinking, though he could also be backtracking for it.
Cariosa getting one of those Lizalfos, oh, it's actually Dinolfos, stuck behind the firewall, which is annoying because they won't jump back down from behind that. Fairy bottle on the Bemo's chest.
Yep. And just some money off the post salesman, so that's not helpful. We'll see where Fabio's off to next. Cariosa is going right side GTG now. Fabio is going child. Where is he going?
So Cariosa getting his first look at the maze, as well as 3 easily accessible checks for him. You're not saying
Fabio,
no to a freestanding heart container.
Nope. I mean, you're walking right past it.
Key,
even for
small
top
chest,
runners,
center.
You appreciate it. Ooh, that's hover boots.
Well, we are magic away from being able to beat Shadow Temple.
Yes, we are. Yeah, Fabio running in some out-of-the-way checks currently. I'm not sure where he's going right now, but he's going somewhere, and I could not tell you where that is, but going someplace.
Might be thinking about Market Way of the hero. I'm not sure.
Maybe. So he did already get a hook shot from there. He knows Water Temple's Way of the hero.
Now, water's foolish.
Yeah.
Not like we don't need to do it, but it's foolish.
Oh, Fabio hasn't done ranch yet. That makes sense.
Oh! Interesting routing choice. I am so used to just runners going the 3-song route when they first go child that it didn't even occur to me that yes, he hasn't checked London ranch yet.
That makes a little more sense considering that your adult spawns in the silo and you did see that chest is useless.
Certainly.
I think the enemies in GTG was the second key that Cariosa has. I could be wrong. I don't know. It would also help if I could spell. Doesn't look like there's much else Cariosa wants in the maze in the moment.
Yeah, no, the maze mostly had small chests and keys. Which means that there's a bunch of items possibly in the loop. That's where Cariosa said it now. Well, it is an item.
It's an item, just not a helpful one. Sometimes for Fabio here does mean that he will be around in Dampede if he wants, which could be an item they want. It's also just almost night for him anyway, looking at the guy here. He was cutting it very close on time of day to get in here.
Not a bad idea to get that in when you have time of day on your side. I mean...
I thought Fabio peeked the silo early and that's why he didn't want to come here, but he's going for whatever it is. Cariosa decided to not get it, so I don't actually know what this is.
I think he didn't get the peek when he was adult. I seem to recall that he... Cariosa warped out immediately. Fabio didn't quite have the right angle as an adult to peek this, so...
I thought I saw enough of the edge to tell it was a hurt piece, but better safe than sorry in any case. You really don't want to leave a check like this behind and then... that turns out it's your hammer 3 hours later. Oops.
So,
it does happen sometimes.
Blueman in chat is asking, does Cariosa check Wasteland chest after GTG? He would love to, but he doesn't have magic. So he would need to find magic to be able to check that Haunted Wasteland chest, which should be right here.
And the answer is nope!
No, but we do have another fire source. There's your fire arrows. I was close.
Chickens here for Fabio, and that is, that's a funny spot for fire arrows considering what we were just talking about.
Yep.
Thanks, game. Much appreciated.
It is time for chickens. Live on Restream.
Cariosa is going to cross the wasteland to go see what's at the Colossus.
Yeah.
Not in logic by a lot, since we have no lens, no magic, and no requiem. And I don't think he cares.
No, there's a song check at the Colossus, which he certainly wants to have. At this point, it has 2 out of 3 chance to be a song, 1 out of 3 chance to be a useful song.
Yep.
Anyway,
well, we've got Storms and Serenade left, so 1 and 2.
yeah, that's what I mean. But there's also, we haven't seen the item song check yet.
Point. Duh. Thank you for the reminder. And it could be a useful item. Fabio's gonna turn it to night now and go do the Sculptureless and Dante making, I assume, here, which is good routing to get some extra checks. Kak is Way of the Hero, confirmed for Dins, but you never know. There could always be more stuff in here, and we are still missing 2 more Way of the Heroes. Cariosa does not forget he doesn't have a does not have magic to use his fire sources.
So this trick is called Lensless Wasteland. You stay to the right of a seam here, and then you stay to the left of another seam. Then you point your way towards a light band in the sand dunes, and then you turn right towards this flag gate. That sounds easier than it is. There's a great tutorial video on YouTube, or several great tutorial videos on how to do this on YouTube that also show you the collision view and where the void out zones are. But Cariosa certainly has done it enough times that it is just clear as day to him where he needs to walk for this. Yep, Fabio showing us 10 skulls.
Good choice. Let's see what this has. More bombs, thanks. Any idea what's on the arch?
I haven't seen it. And our song check is... Song of Storms. Alright.
That's handy.
We are not going to care about the other song checks.
Not especially, as we find our other copy of the Lens game hint. Game, can we get a remaining Way of the Heroes, please? So we've got Serenade and the Composer Grave left for song checks. One of them's an... we've got, Ice Cavern and the Composer Grave, which are left for song checks. One of which is Serenade, the other which is an item. And don't forget that it may not be dead. That could be something like our hammer, or Strength 2, or Mirror Shield. Well, probably not Mirror Shield. Yeah, could be Mirror Shield. Can't be a hammer, because hammer locks the L to get to, I think, those remaining song checks, which we're not seeing for a long time at this point.
Well, the Ice Cavern song check is locked by Zelda's Lullaby. So that has to be either Serenade or our item.
The other is the Composer Grave, equally sealed.
Which is also locked by... Well, great.
And that's what I mean, we're not seeing those for a while, and neither of those can have our hammer. Because Fire Temple is the water medallion which locks Burning Kak. Which has CL. This seed's been fun. A decent collection of items so far, but we're also missing a whole bunch.
Yeah, but that being said, Cariosa has now decided that it is time to finish his first dungeon. Or his next dungeon, Forest Temple.
No reason not to, really. It's required, as is every other Stony Medallion dungeon today. And he has the items for it, so... Basic, might as well.
Yep. When you can do progression dungeons, that is going to be the first choice on what to do next whenever such a decision comes up in OTR, because obviously you hope to just run into further progression items in the dungeons that you need to do anyway, wasting your 0 time. And we'll see how that plays out for Cariosa.
Yes, we will. I'm going to head for GTG for real now. I'm going to find out where his long shot's at on the way. That's good. And we'll eventually get his strength, find out the rest of GTG's and snooze, and probably go Forest after that too. No real reason not to. The extra check, probably behind Cariosa securely in terms of that. Since he's just done some extra checks. Unfortunately, said extra checks have gotten him basically nowhere, unfortunately.
Yeah,
he's probably hoping for a little bit more, like a strength upgrade or 2 before going to GTG. Unfortunately, his strength upgrade's on the fortress roof.
even when you if you find another strength upgrade at this point, you're probably not going to be headed straight back to GTG just for those 4 checks in the like room, because at this point, those are a bit out of the way. Oh, small key here on the musky chest for Cariosa. Can I just say that those are really, really evil song locations, both for Requiem on OOT and Zelda's Lullaby on Burning Cag? That is a song layout and a half that the randomizer produced today. How do the ground jumps work? Oh, good question, PD. Basically what happens is that you bring Link into a state where he tries to grab the bomb at the time it explodes, is I think the long and short of it. And that basically ends up having him unable to backflip. And instead of backflipping, he will jump straight up for, I don't know, a foot or two. Which allows you to grab ledges that you normally wouldn't be able to grab. I'm simplifying here. I'm sure the developers in chat can give a better explanation than that, but that is the long and short of it, the effect of it. And we found a strength upgrade in Forest Temple.
Yep, well, Redpo. Well, that's needed. Also kind of mean. Considering you had to go to the fortress room for your first strength, and this one is hard strength locked, you do need to push those blocks to get here.
Yeah, require double dip. Wait, require double dip? No.
Require double dip of the fortress area. Let's put it that way.
So yeah, the bomb sprite doesn't exactly stay behind, but what does happen is that because of the explosion and Link trying to grab that bomb when he shouldn't be able to, you get him into a bit of a bugged state where he can't backflip. And then you make him backflip, and then it sends him straight up.
Which reminds me, actually, as we approach the 1 hour mark here now, give both of our runners a follow if the bot would cooperate. I think it's not quit. Thanks.
There's a boss key for Cariosa.
But give our runners a follow there on the, I just posted the links manually in chat, Cariosa and Fabio. Thank you also to my co-com Tobias.
And to my co-com Star.
And to our 2 trackers, Miraba and Baseball for doing the tracking behind the scenes, so you guys know what these 2 have.
Right.
Can't do these restreams without volunteers, so always much appreciated. If you want to learn more about the tournament, and to volunteer yourself, please go check out this command here. The Discord to the link to the SGL 2022 Discord is linked here. If you want to play OTR yourself, please go check out the Create of Time Randomizer Discord, which I will link manually as separately here as well. Always appreciate volunteers. We can't put one on without you, and it's a good deal of fun.
Yep, all these restreams wouldn't be happening without the tireless work of everyone who volunteers and puts time into them. And I, for one, am very grateful to everyone.
Fabio has forgotten that HBA was intended to be dead.
Or
Oops.
at this point, I think he just remembered.
I think he might have just realized it. It happens, but oops. Again, it's better to do so if you're not sure than to skip it and then wonder why is it, than to skip it and then wonder why you are missing X item at the end of the seed, because you forgot about it. There's always cases where runners miss a check for whichever reason, either misreading hints, miscounting keys, or just not have it, just their routing didn't work out for it. And then that ends up costing them a really good finish time. They've all been there, but it does not feel good.
Oh, you were right. There were 2 keys in the lobby.
Okay.
Harry just only picked one up. Yeah.
Someone in chat saying checking OOT does seem easier to follow than on LTTP rando. Well, the tracker at its core is the same, like, user interface, just with different item layouts between the two randomizers and between any other thing you do tracking for on SpeedGaming. It's just that I think OOT tracking might be a bit easier than ALTTPR tracking, because ALTTPR is a shorter game, so you're naturally going to have more items in a shorter time period to click on, whereas OOTR's items are more spread out. Especially because ALTTPR has 5 item games, which get to be really chaotic as a tracker, speaking from experience.
And the OOTR items are also comparatively easy to recognize. ALTTPR items, just because of the nature of the game. Oh, hi, Hammer!
That's a hammer!
Because of the nature of the game, are just a few pixels. And thus, you have to be paying a lot closer attention.
Yes, baseball, that is assuming you know the game. If you've never seen the randomizer, then yeah, it would be a bit harder to track. You're not wrong.
Well, that gives Cariosa yet another dungeon to complete. Is also going to give him Zelda's Lullaby.
Which presently doesn't actually do much, despite them needing it eventually. That opened up a lot of checks right now.
Yeah, that's true.
They can go to Ice Cavern out of logic with Hover Boots and ZL for even with just Hover Boots you can get there out of logic with King Zora skip. Songs of dubious use, and the items are who knows at this point is the thing, and
the chance that it's just a junk item is pretty darn high. So the incentive to go to either Ice Cavern or to the Composer's Grave, in fact, is mediocre. That being said, Composer's Grave probably will be the first, will be definitely the first of the 2 to be checked, because A, it will be in logic, and B, it's much shorter to get to the song check than Ice Cavern. Let's see.
Alright, Phantom Ganon's down for Cariosa, and that's it for him. First stone of the seed at 57 minutes. Doing pretty well. Gonna be Fire Temple next. We'll see how mean Fire Temple is today. Okay, sometimes it's nice and gives you the boss gear early, other times you need to climb all the way to the top. As expected, that is Bolero. I would have been deeply concerned if he went anywhere else. And straight in.
Yep, straight into Fire Temple. Again, another required dungeon, and as I said, and as it has paid out for Cariosa before, you just do your required dungeons and hope that you find more required items for the rest of the seed on the way, until you run out of those.
Yep. Fabio, on the other hand, has been more thorough in doing more one-off checks, which unfortunately has gotten him basically nowhere, unfortunately, which is kind of how he's about a Forest Temple and a half and some extra minutes on top of that behind right now. For example, and the rest of GTG, I guess, is how much behind Fabio is currently on Curiosa, because he's done extra checks and just never didn't get him anything at all, so...
Which is a good 10 minutes.
More than that, for example itself, well yeah, since he's already on the courtyard, it's like 10 minutes, and then a few extra minutes on top of that. Fire Temple Basement Loop, that's another skull for Curiosa. And Fabio's done with GTG. Going to also check out the Colossus. This is just mean for them both, too, that you cross the wasteland hoping to get something useful. You get an eye roll, you get storms, and then you're also out of there as well, because you can't check the ferry, you can peek the arch, and you don't have strength to go in, so it's no furrows to set, or magic to get back there quickly. So it's just kind of an all-around feels-bad wasteland trip.
Yep. That being said, interesting choice by Curiosa to not switch to Master Sword here for the Flare Dancer. Because that is one of a handful of enemies in the game. Wait, no, Flare Dancer is actually the only one, I think, that shares Ganon's damage table. Where the Master Sword does exorbitantly more damage to the Flare Dancer and to Ganon than any other weapon will do.
Indeed, because there were some interesting coding decisions made by the original developers. Including that. I have no idea why Flare Dancers share a damage table with Ganon, but they do.
So yeah, normally you see that's why normally you see most runners switch back to the Master Sword to fight the Flare Dancers. Curiosa didn't see the need, and I don't know, it cost him maybe a few seconds. It's not bad. Found the boss key early though, and so it's going to be interesting to see. Do you go back into Fire Temple, or what else do you do next after beating Volvagia?
Because Volv gets you ZL, which itself gets you Ice of Dubious Usefulness. It does get you more of the Well, which is severely out of logic. But Way of the Hero, I think I'd probably go Well at this point, actually. Well's Way of the Hero, Fire is a Pain.
Severely out of logic? How do you mean?
Wasteland Crossing's not in Storm's Set Colossus.
Oh, yeah.
To those who are not familiar with the term logic, that refers to the inbuilt code of the randomizer, which has coding so that the randomizer program knows what is required to do certain things. So you cannot get yourself permanently locked out of doing things. So things like, you do need a hammer to beat Volvagia. In SGL, you will never see a hammer on Volvagia. If you do somehow, please report it, we've got a major problem. Or for example, there will be a strength upgrade and a bow, and a hookshot to get in before finishing Forest Temple. The logic will also assume you use your keys in the worst way possible, so you can't get yourself locked out of a dungeon by keys, and so on.
Basically, there is a very, very robust piece of code that makes sure that whatever you do and however dubious decisions you make, you will be able to finish the randomizer seed. It might not be pleasant, you might have to backtrack a bunch, but you will be able to finish it. Yep. That is the water medallion for Curiosa. Now off to Kakariko to grab that Zelda's Lullaby, I would presume. Maybe going to check Goron City on the way.
Goron City and also Crater Ferry.
Not Crater Ferry.
Oh, not Crater Ferry, never mind ZL, right, duh. But yeah, Goron City will make sense here. Yeah, we are still missing a Frogs 2 hint. It's unlikely to be required, but one never knows. The randomizer does stupid things sometimes. And we are still missing 2 Wave of the Heroes, which I think they would really like to see to get some information on where their remaining items are. At least one of them might tell us something about an item we've already seen, but it would be good to have that info anyway. We know that Kak is Wave of the Hero for Din's Fire, and the Market is Wave of the Hero for a Hookshot, neither of which is any particular amount of useful information. And Bottom of the Well is Wave of the Hero, which we haven't seen at all, so that is a good hint. Probably likely one of the places where Curiosa goes after picking up ZL, because that'll be full clearable with ZL bombs and a way to get in and storms to get in.
Yeah, I'm going to assume he will check the Composer's Grave just because of ease of access. Just play Nocturne, jump down there, get the song check, and know for certain what's at the end of the ice cavern.
Yep. Neat little trick here to peek the chest in the maze for Curiosa. There was a bomb bag in here, so he saw the big chest and is going for it. Unfortunately, we know it's just his 3rd bomb bag, which he's going to be rather disappointed by.
Biggest bomb bag.
Yep.
Get the target in the woods hint.
Yep. Slingshot not required for that today. It's logically required to beat Goma. They really don't care.
Who needs a slingshot when you have Deku Nuts? Which are a super overpowered item, which I wish I would have known about when I was a child playing this game.
Indeed, Deku Nuts, which can even hurt Ganon, one of the handful of items that do. Not sure why, but they do. Ganon's tail is vulnerable to a variety of stuff. It is vulnerable to all types of arrows, the hammer, the hookshot, bombs, the big Oron sword, the giant's knife, and, for some reason, Deku Nuts.
Yep, and you need 9 of those to get to the first phase of Ganon. Ask me how I know. Because I'm bad at storing the jump slash.
And in fact, actually, Deku Nuts are recommended for Ganon Phase 1 if you missed the jumps. If you miss a jump slash, which, to explain that, you can, because again, OOT is a well-coded video game, crouch stabs don't actually have a damage value inherently assigned to them. So they will hold the value of whatever your last attack was. So you can jump slash store the value of a Master Sword jump slash before entering the cutscene, and then you can use either hammer or big Oron sword crouch stabs to beat Ganon Phase 1 faster that way, but if you can't do that, either because you don't have BGS or hammer or because you missed jump slash, then actually the next recommended method is in fact to use Deku Nuts because their hitbox is also ridiculous.
As I said, overpowered as heck.
Yes.
And Curiosa doing what you predicted, and going child, I would assume, on the way to the well.
Yep, there's really not a reason not to. He has no progression dungeons to beat, or even get in the door of right now, actually. Yeah, he literally cannot. I guess he could enter Adult Spirit, but knowing where Requiem is, it's not the best choice right now. He has no progression dungeons to really do right now. He has Well's an unresolved way of the hero. I'd be more confused if he wasn't going there at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. He could always gamble on Deep Fire Temple, but why? Again, unresolved way of the hero, that is definitely the next best thing after you don't have progression dungeons to do on your list.
Pretty much, because the rest of Fire is optional.
Playing Sun Song.
Nighttime we'll get him Dompe time, but we'll get him Composer Grave and the skulls in the cack.
Oh, right, yeah.
Smart choice to road Composer Grave in with the wells since you hear his child anyway, and you can flame storage this because they still don't have a magic meter.
So let's talk about flame storage then, I guess, which we are about to see Curiosa do. Flame storage. Nice little trick, because again, Ocarina of Time is a video game from 1998, and the developers took a bunch of shortcuts. Which, again, this is a game that's running on what? 8 megabytes of RAM-ish?
Something like that?
Yeah. So, if you stand next to a flame, a torch, with a Deku stick in hand, then yes, you will... that is our last song, that's a Serenade of Water. Then you will light that stick on fire. If you put that stick away, and it will be... It's inside the hitbox of that torch flame, on the last frame that is still visible, that stick will stay lit on fire. And you can pull it out anywhere while the torch is still rendered, and have a stick on fire in your hands.
Yep. So you can carry the torch a further distance than you would normally. You see this sometimes in the Deku Tree. The flame storage is Orange Zora's domain is child to speed up the torch minigame a bit. Composer Grave is one of the most difficult places to do flame storage in. That's because the timing is quite precise.
Yep, you definitely see it in Composer Grave, but it is timing-wise, it is a tight trick. You even see top runners sometimes just miss it and the stick burn down a few frames before they can light the torch outside.
Yeah, recently.
That's why it's not in logic, but it's useful.
It is. It is also technically, I think, a glitch, which is the other reason it's not allowed. Not in logic. Not that it's not allowed. If it was not allowed, I'd have some words with Cariosa, but no. And apparently, OOT runs on 4 megabytes of RAM. It's MM that can run on 8 with the expansion pack. Thank you for the explanation, chat.
Oh, thanks.
I never owned an N64 when I was a child, so I don't know all the particulars. I didn't own any consoles, actually, when I was a child, because my parents really hated video games. Still do, last I checked. I just moved out. So I don't have to worry about them hating video games anymore, as long as I'm not visiting them.
Well,
right,
I do love video games, and time for us to get back to the seat. Cariosa is in the bottom of the well, away of the hero location, so that is guaranteed to have us a required progression item. Let's see what it is. A slingshot. Oh no, that can very well be our WOTH item in here. Let's hope it's not.
Oh, tell me. Let's see. So, what does that slingshot lock? It can only be way of which locks the Forest Medallion, which locks Zeal and Epona.
Not for that. Okay.
Uh-oh. That's bad.
Well, okay, the slingshot won't be Way of the Hero for that, because to be... No, wait. This is accessible without CL. So we have seen another big chest in the center of the
Wasteland Crossing's out of logic.
Oh yeah, you're right. Wasteland Crossing's still out of logic, so...
And it's behind Epona's right now, I should add.
So this is definitely not in logic.
No, because we don't have a lens, we don't have a magic, and Epona's is, by the way, currently our only way across the Gerudo Valley Bridge, because Longshot is in Tektite Grotto, and we've got no idea where either Scale or Iron Boots are to get that.
Let's see. Big chest. Please not be... Okay.
Oh, that's a boomerang. That's Way of the Hero, and guaranteed, and a lot better than a slingshot. Which could still be Way of the Hero. It would also have to lock both other slingshots, but...
Problem is that this is still not helping us get any more checks.
No, because 30 Skulls is dead, so the boomerang doesn't help that, and we don't have a way into Jabu because we don't know where Rudo's letter is.
So even if this is our Way of the Hero item, it's still pretty crummy.
Yeah, really crummy. The slingshot also unlocks 0 checks for the same reason.
Yeah,
no,
I mean, Target in the Woods.
Target in the Woods
is technically unlocked by this, but we know it's dead. We have a sometime synth for that. Yeah.
And Boomerang gets you Child Spirit, so they don't need a slingshot for that either. Now that they can get Child Spirit, since they still need to beat Jabu and Water for Requiem.
So, let's speculate a bit. If this is actually the only major items we find in the bottom of the well, where would you be headed next? Right? That's my reaction to that question as well.
You've got, in logic, really awful to do Deep Fire versus out of logic, slightly less terrible Spirit as adults, which you know you can't beat. I think those are the two main options. Or also out of logic Ice Cavern with the 5 items in it, since we know the song has to be in Songcheck has to be the randomized item as Curious Offense. Serenade in the Composer Grave, as we see
big
another
chest.
big chest.
Is this
and
helpful?
the Mirror Shield, which
We'll
is
take
useful, but still not progression. Or not immediate progression.
Not logical progression.
Nope, not in the slightest. This is fixed, but where's our immediate progression, I think, is the question after this. Well, they needed it, that's for sure. This might even be double wave here, because they did already see 2 copies of it, and find a third that's double, so that doesn't. But this does not give us any new checks. In logic. Adult Spirit's slightly less terrible. Maybe. That's assuming you can actually get a key on the adult side, which they might not.
I don't think we've seen River yet, have we?
No, but there is River.
I mean, Frox 1 is definitely locked by Wasteland Crossing, so it doesn't play into it. We could make our way back to the Gerudo area for those 4 checks in the like room, hoping that is anything useful.
Yeah, we've got that. We've got Out of Logic Ice, which would be rounded with River potentially. We have Child Domain. Child Fishing is a check, and you can peek the letter spot. Deep Fire just kind of sucks.
It might be the play, though. We'll see.
It might. We can't get in the door of Shadow Temple. Adult Spirit, you might be locked out immediately, and they probably don't feel like hiking back there right now.
Not if they can avoid it.
Curios is going to go River now. The other thing, too, is there's 3 hints here in River, and they're still missing 2 Way of the Heroes. I would be searching for those at this point with no good options for progression. I think this would make sense.
Yeah, I agree. 3 hints in pretty quick succession is nothing to sneeze at, and a lot of information potentially. Yeah. If it's the right kind of hints. We have seen a lot of copies of hints as well, so the odds of these actually being our missing Way of the Hero, that's a scale.
A very funny spot for a scale, considering it's one of 2 methods to get here logically as Child. That is useful.
Gets us into Zora's Domain without CL as well.
Yep.
Not that we care at this point.
No.
Or that we care at all, considering there's a chicken.
Yep. Because you can cheese your way past the waterfall with the chicken. Again, not in logic in these settings, but I don't think they care.
Let's see, Frox 1, obviously Colossus, Colossus Wasteland Crossing locked, but could still have a useful item. Well, at least we have some money.
Yeah, I do want to see if there's another Way of the Hero. A double well Way of the Hero would tell us nothing at all. Almost anything else would be helpful, as long as it's not a market or cat copy.
I mean, we needed the slingshot or the boomerang to get to those items in Child Spirit, which are hard required to beat Spirit Temple, so that alone definitely fulfills our well Way of the Hero.
Goron City Way of the Hero.
We found a bomb bag there so far, but that's not it, because there was a bomb bag absolutely accessible in the windmill.
That bomb bag is in fact presently bomb locked, actually.
Yeah.
So
Market
definitely
way of the hero.
second copy. Thanks. Not helpful. But Goron City Way of the Hero is... I guess that's where Karios is going next, because that's Child Goron City has to
Oh,
be
certainly. I mean, you do domain because you're up here already, but afterwards you walk back out and then use the shortcut to go Lostwood Goron City.
You have to do that, yes. Or he's gonna go there right now. That works too.
I mean, we have Serenade. It's easy to get back to domain now that we have escaped, so I can see why he's prioritizing it.
Yeah, he might as well, honestly. You've got no appealing progression options, and you just found a Way of the Hero that's not resolved. Go do it.
Let's go.
Good.
And we can full clear it as well, at least the child side.
And he's already cleared adults, so he is guaranteed to find the Way of the Hero item here. What that is, we don't know, but we know there is something here. It will either be the Hot Rod or Goron, the Runia, or the big old spinning pot.
In the meantime, Fabio is picking up his copy of Zelda's Lullaby.
Yep.
Has beaten 3 dungeons and...
That is certainly not the Way of the Hero.
Another bottle. Nope.
Curious, only other bottle is out of logic, but he knows that that's unlikely to be Way of the Hero for anything at all at this point, so he's gonna keep going. Because he got his bottle from GTG Bemos, and he knows that Leponis is technically not in right now due to shenanigans. And that's a Way of the Hero,
magic.
that's a magic
There we
one.
go.
That's...
Yes, we do Shadow Temple.
Yes, we do.
Just to be sure, obviously, you're going to check Spinning Pot anyway. You're not leaving that behind.
No, I would think you're nuts if you leave Spinning Pot behind at this point. You're not in go mode, you're here, and you're never coming back.
We now have the items to do another dungeon, another progression dungeon, and go back to rush dungeon until you run out of dungeons mode. So that's
Pretty
what
much.
Karios is about to do.
Yep. Because generally recommended routing for OOT in the mid-late game is to do progression dungeons whenever you can. You're doing it anyway, so you might as well do it. You need to do it at some point anyway, so you might as well do it and see if you can't find your remaining items there. Even if it's foolish, it's a good time to think about where you're going next. Generally.
Correct. And Fabio showing us flame storage again. Pulling out the Deku stick on the last possible edge of the area where that torch is still loaded, and then side hopping through the rest of the Composer's Grave to be able to light those torches out of logic. Sadly, we already knew, and he now knows as well, that that is for a useful item, useless item, but cool trick anyway. And into Shadow Temple we go.
Yep.
This is a dungeon that, at least for me, is mostly autopilot. There's not really much to decide in there in terms of routing, except maybe do you skip the back of Shadow Temple if you end up with all the keys you need beforehand.
Yeah. Not advisable when you are missing items or going.
Certainly. Because getting back there sucks.
Yes, it really does.
Yes, Alpha Mario, another all dungeons seed.
Yep, again, because that's what I seem to be rolling right now, apparently. I rolled a seed just before opening the race room earlier, just to see what how great the generator felt like doing, and that one was probably worse than this. Skull Mask had a Way of the Hero bomb bag, and the others being Top of Spirit and Lab Dive, with a scale being on True Bowling, so Bomb Lock. Now, Big Oron had to do from eye drops for his strength upgrade, and Burning Cack in that seed was sorry a song to get your light arrows off frogs too.
Ew. Well, at least Frogs 2 isn't always in, so that's the saving grace that seat had.
Yeah. I should chat about what the names mean on the tracker for the dungeon names, where some are white and some are gray. That's referring to the white ones and the ones that they need to be. So the 3 spiritual stones and the shadow and for the Rainbow Bridge, and then the shadow and spirit medallions, which happen to both be vanilla this seed, ironically, for the Gans Castle boss key, and then the good DC and fire rewards are gray because they are not technically required to for the win conditions this seed. They just happen to be required anyway because Zelda's Lullaby is on Burning Cack. And the seeds mean.
Yep, and Burning Cack. This song check is locked by exactly the medallions you wouldn't need for the win condition normally, the forest, fire, and water medallions. So yeah, you're doing it all anyway.
Yep. And they also threw in a required, well, don't know, GTG was currently so far a bust, and we don't know about Ice Cavern yet. So let's see if there's anything of any actual value here in the for Curiosa for thing in Shadow, because this is I wasn't exactly counting keys. I think there was a key on Dead Hand in the well, so I think the magic, which was a oh no, that well has nothing to do with it. Yeah, magic's been available for a while, so Shadow Temple's been available for a while, so this is in logic progression here, so it'll be interested to see if we get anything of use in here.
I mean, Iron Boots gets us both Water Temple, as well as the Long Shot, which puts Wasteland Crossing into logic, so... Oh no, we have the Hover Boots anyway, so Wasteland
It's
Crossing.
the lens that's our problem for Wasteland Crossing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Irons would get us closer to getting Requiem for Wasteland Crossing, but the problem is we know Lens has to be available before Requiem because Storms of the Colossus, and you need to get that to get Boomerang to beat Jabu to get Requiem. So Lens is somewhere around. They haven't found it, and I don't think they care about it since the Lens game was hinted dead, but technically it's logically required for the Wasteland. It's also the Wasteland and the Lens minigame are also the only things that require the Lens in these settings. In logic, but, you know, that aside.
Alright, Cariosa's making his way through Shadow Temple to the room with the invisible spinning blades. So if you're wondering why Cariosa might be taking damage occasionally, yeah. Again, with Lens of Truth you would see those. But our runners don't particularly care about that.
No, not at all.
Collecting skulls that are along the way, which indicates to me he is not willing to lose to skipping 20 Skulltulas.
Yeah. Lens could be on 20 as chat suggests, so that would make sense, honestly. But yeah, if it's in your face, you might as well get the skulls that are right there. You don't want to lose to a check that's so freely available, because that just feels bad.
Yeah, you walk past 20 skulls as you clear dungeons anyway, so meh, grab them.
And no, we have not seen Ice Cavern. It is confirmed to be an item on the sawing check. We have no idea what, as we're not getting hints. But there is an item there. Fabio back to checking more overworld checks and not rushing progression as much as Cariosa.
Cariosa, meanwhile, making his way very efficiently through the Crusher room. With chest size matches contents, you can peek the chest down behind the grate and just worry about those 2 chests upstairs here if that one downstairs doesn't have anything.
Yeah, and actually, correction to Fabio's routing. He's doing just overworld checks because he doesn't have good progression to do right now, because he went here instead of River, which Cariosa did, so Fabio does not know that Gorhan City is wave to hero, so makes sense for him to do this.
Yeah, though I can't imagine him being far off doing River.
I don't think so either. Did anyone see what the letter spot was? He peeked it from a distance. I have no idea what it is.
I didn't see it, definitely. So we'll have to rely on our eagle-eyed viewers in chat to let us know if that was anything useful.
And Fabio cannot go to domain immediately after this, as we get our other wallet off child fishing. Thanks.
Okay.
But we cannot route to domain immediately from here, because Fabio does not have a scale. That was in Zora's River. So he's going to play Serenade, and I suspect take the Owl, which we'll see where he goes after that.
Owl Express taking us straight to the front of Castletown.
Yep. But I suspect this will probably be the Owl to River. Hey, first chew pack an hour and a half in.
Yeah, that's rare, actually.
Yeah, especially because in these settings we do have chews and big chests. Fun fact here for Cario, as we see Cariosa backflip onto the chest in this room to get up to the top without long shot. This is in logic, one of the more common sticking points in Rando, but backflipping onto that chest, it gives you just enough height to reach that target up top there.
Yep.
They did skip ahead to chew back in Delhi, that's true.
Ooh, that was close.
And also, iron boots are not required for the fan room. You can wait. It's slow, but you can't just wait for the cycle.
Yep. And if you stand by the edges of the fan, you will also not get blown all the way back, so this is also a logical way to pass to the fan room without iron boots. Obviously, the side hop strategy that Cariosa just did is much faster. But if that were the only way to get to the fan room without iron boots, we wouldn't probably have put it into logic.
Yeah.
As a community, I mean.
Yeah, because default logic generally does not require you to do ridiculously difficult things. There's a skill for Fabio that he probably wished he had a minute ago.
Ooh,
And
big
big
chest.
chest.
Hello,
There's
Letter.
Letter. Alright.
Oh, that gives us Jabu.
And Requiem. We are... not Requiem still. We still don't have iron boots or gold scale. Where are those?
Where's one of those? Yeah, that's a good question. But yeah, that will basically put the seat on rails for Cariosa even further. He will just be headed into Jabu next, see what he finds there, as well as grab the spiritual stone that's available in it.
Much. So Fabio clearing river now. I wonder if he'll go to domain or at least read the upper river hint, because we still are missing our final baby hero. Frox 2 is lurking in the background, and we are missing a foolish hint. It wouldn't be bad to get any of those things.
So if Fabio finds anything in domain, anything useful, that's going to be bad for Cariosa, because even though it is pretty comparatively easy to get to, he has isolated it a bit. I mean, he's going to pass through it on the way... Oh, never mind. He's going to pass through it on the way to Jabu. What am I saying?
I was going to say, Cariosa will just route it in then. And it won't... And whatever it is... And even if there is something in domain, it won't make a difference to finishing Shadow people. And we know that Fabio will have to go back and go to get Letter to go back child anyway, so that probably shouldn't matter much. And Fabio's gonna also head straight to Brown City. I don't know.
Right, this is actually the one room in the vanilla game that you actually need Din's Fire for. In theory, there is a glitch that would allow you to pass through those spike walls and grab those checks without ever using Din's Fire, but that's obviously not allowed in our standard rule set.
Nor is it considered in the logic, considering, you know, this is glitch-less logic.
Yep.
There is also glitched logic and no logic, but in glitch-less logic, no matter how stuck you get, you will never be required to perform glitches in most seeds unless you are playing on a developmental build with some experimental settings, which can, on rare occasions, they're still not common because our devs are pretty good at avoiding those bugs. Occasionally turn up a bug or two. I did find one a couple months back, but they're very, very rare on even the dev builds, and
Yeah,
basically unheard of unstable.
yeah. If you play on a stable randomizer, you definitely should
It will
never
be
be
beatable.
required. Should
It
never be
might not be.
required to use glitches. It might not be fun, but it will be beatable.
Yeah. It might not be obvious or fun, but yeah, you will always be guaranteed to beat the seed. It just might take some effort to figure out how it's beatable, because the randomizer, no matter what your settings are, will always find a way to make it suck. Every time. No, every time, but it will always make it find it. Randomizer finds a way, no matter what you turn on or don't. It frequently just gives you a really lousy hand, and you're stuck with it, such as this seed requiring burning cat. Are they probably all that amused about it? No, but that's how the rando goes.
Speaking of rando going, blink and you miss it. Cariosa has finished the fight against Bongo Bongo, our drummer deep inside the Shadow Temple, and put that particular boss to rest.
Yep. Ooh, Kokiri Stormstrider for Fabio is a new check, having just picked up his magic meter. Again,
So-
Fabio being more thorough here and getting a small chest and a hint.
GGG, Way of the Hero.
Way of the Hero for those hover boots. Gee, thanks.
All right, that's all of our Way of the Heroes fulfilled, we would say.
Yeah, that is. I was hoping our final Way of the Hero would be a little bit more useful than that, but nope. Yeah, the file. Rando being random included for both of the first two SGL calls requiring burning cack. Today's at least was really obvious. Oh my goodness, that's a gold scale on Skull Kid. That is an item.
That's important. So
That's also been available since the beginning of the seed. Oops. To be fair, Minuet was on Sares and Sares was on Minuet, so it's a bit of an annoying backtrack for that check, but that's big for Fabio, actually.
yeah, so Fabio does not need to search for iron boots now. He will be able to pick up the long shot out of Tektite Grotto and will be able to straight up beat Water Temple. Obviously, he's going to postpone that as much as possible, I would presume, because he still has progression dungeons to do that are not foolish.
Yeah,
but
and he would like to get irons just in case, but that does put him in tentative go mode, actually. Or we know he's going to be in tentative go mode after Shadow Temple because Rudo's letter is in here.
9 out of 10 chance. 9 out of 10 chance you will be able to beat Water Temple without needing Iron Boots. Logically, you need Iron Boots for every single check inside Water Temple. But with a gold scale and in these settings, yes, with a gold scale and a long shot, you can get to 9 out of 10 out of those 10 checks without needing Iron Boots.
Yep, the only exception being the Central Pillar, because you just can't go deep enough with that with Gold Scale. Just literally, physically can't get there without it. It is the one and only exception. Note in the settings, because we are seeing some comparatively tame settings for what the randomizer can offer. There are a lot of different things that can be randomized in OTR. You can randomize the keys, small keys and boss keys. You can randomize the business scrub salesman. You can randomize the shop items. You can randomize the sculptural tokens. You can randomize all the entrances you could dream of about at this point almost, including the bosses, and I know that Fortress entrance shuffle is in the works. You can randomize things like the pots, the crates, the beehives, and the freestanding hearts and rupees. Those are more recent settings. You can do things like give ice arrows blue fire functionality.
You can also randomize any and all entrances in the game, not just fortress entrances, but both among themselves. So, like, for example, a dungeon entrance would lead you to another dungeon. Or you could do something a bit more wacky and mix all those pools together into one giant entrance pool and have to find your progression dungeon in a random grotto in Hyrule Field, for example. Or, if you feel like playing a bit of a different version of the game, you can also randomize Master Quest dungeons into the game. One
yes,
or up to 12.
Ooh,
And
here's a big
there
chest
are,
for Cariosa.
yeah, and I know there are some Master Quest dungeon aficionados in chat tonight, so... Oh,
thanks for the slingshot game.
That is not the big chest item that Cariosa was probably looking for.
No. Technically not slingshot locked, I don't think he cared. Either way, anyway. So...
Interesting choice here to follow up on those string 2 lock checks before he goes child for Jabu.
I guess he just wants to check this, because he's here. Oh, he's going... Wasteland, okay. I guess Curious is now trying to just do a bit of cleanup here, because he's... This is going... because he's hoping to not have to come back this way. He's hoping to next time just play Requiem for Colossus access. He might... Yeah, that's... do remember also that Jabu is itself not a ton of checks. It's 4 items and then 2 in Child Domain, Fountain Fairy, I guess. It's not a ton either. Like Room is 4 quick checks. Wasteland's not too bad either.
Cariosa has obviously been counting keys, oh wait, he doesn't even have iron boots, so he can't be worrying about...
He can't do the toilet even if he wanted to.
Yeah. The toilet, the sunken silver rupees off the big lava room to the right of the maze, but affectionately called the toilet because, you know, it's a body of water that's swirling around.
Yep. The slingshot, I guess, is kind of vaguely interesting in that it's not behind the Deku Tree, because the slingshot in the well is kind of not in logic. At the moment, it doesn't really matter, though at this point, I guess it kind of gives us more options for the lens, so for what little that matters, so, yeah. Curious is probably... Oh, big chest! Hoping to find iron boots to beat water and then go child so he can get OOT at the same time. And... oh, well, he can go to Idle Spirit instead for Roars there, I guess. That's not terrible, actually.
Yeah, I mean...
It's not
I'm going to assume he was actually on the way to Colossus to at least check the Colossus Ferry here as well. But now he might actually dip pretty far into Adult Spirit if the game will let him.
That's not a bad play, honestly. Yeah.
He has to do it anyway, and with Ferrori's Wind, it's 0 sweat off his back to get to where he leaves off. So, yeah.
And for all he knows, his iron boots are in here. Because I think he is trying to avoid a second child trip just for Requiem, because it is slow. So I guess he kind of has to do anyway. I guess he just wants to get this done while he's here, potentially, and just do some cleanup efficiency. Because even for a runner who likes to take a bit more risks and not go for all the out-of-the-way checks like Cariosa, at some point you just have to say, I'm running out of stuff. Might as well get some stuff before I head... I have to do this. I might as well get something done here before I go back child for things.
Yeah, because age changing does take a while. It's a surprisingly long cutscene that plays there, and so you want to minimize age changes if you can.
Yeah, because if Cariosa found Iron Boots as adult, beat Water, and then went child, he could beat Jabu, get Requiem, and clear all that in one trip. Versus, right now, if he went Jabu immediately, he beat that Go Adult, potentially. Well, if you went child before beating water because he didn't have irons or gold scale, which is on Skull Kid, then he'd have to go back adult to beat water, then come back child again to get OOT and child spirit, which is slow. It's a good couple of minutes. So this makes sense.
Well, one in two chance, or one of two chances for Cariosa to find a key on the adult side here.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, the lower child spirit hint is honestly good to have with a Requiem being where it is, because you know you'll need to go child for it.
Cariosa knows 100% he will not be able to beat Spirit Temple in this instance. So, but he will be able to basically check the entire thing, less the two checks that are hard child locked.
Yep. And that's dropped down the Boulder's chest. So with the key on child side, we do know that, and Iron's locking Requiem. We do know that due to Spirit Temple key logic, the Iron Boots cannot be behind all 5 keys. Remember previous mention that key logic assumes you use your keys in the worst way possible. This gets a little funky in Spirit Temple because you can get here as both ages, and that does really odd things to logic. But if, for example, these two chests here are 3 key lock, because it assumes you go up as child, open both the child doors, and then lock yourself out of adult, as they find what is, so you use your first 2 keys on child side and then use your 3rd key here and then get kind of stuck.
Which basically
so that is in fact logical key number 4 on adult climb. So Pilot gets his letter.
Basically means that at least 3 keys need to be child accessible always.
And for example, the top of Spirit chest, where you do the spinning mirrors with some Lizalfos and the white bubble up top, that is 5 key locked, as is the Spirit Temple boss key chest. Neither of those can have Iron Boots because we know because that locks Requiem, and Requiem locks one of our keys.
Likewise, this check couldn't have been a useful item because it is either 5 key or magic, right?
Or magic locked. Well, it could have been, but it kind of depends where our other keys are. Because I don't know if the child side key is logical 5th, or it could be logical 2nd or 3rd as well. We've got 1 key here on child climb. That is logical key number 2.
Yeah. So
adult climb is key 4. Sunblock could be key 3. Otherwise, it could be child climb. That's key 3. Or child side, it's key 3, and then key 5 is someplace else. Note here that Cariosa is not going for the sunblock room. He will, he is probably assuming it's a small key and going elsewhere. And in
worst case, he can get to that from the other side. He has long shot.
Actually,
right?
No, that is actually, sunblock, I think, is confirmed as 3rd. Let's see, compass child climb is key 2, child side is key 3. Yeah, there is no guarantee that is a small key, so we'll see if he can't get to that from the other side because he doesn't have long shot to go across the hands to bias.
Oh right, he hadn't picked that up yet. He knows where it is, but he hadn't picked that up.
He can't pick it up right now. He's just assuming that it's a key and taking that risk. Ooh, big chest. Thanks.
That was the Stone of Agony, one of the items that is useful in the vanilla game because it will enable the Rumble Pack to show you where hidden grottos are, but utterly useless in OOT Randomizer with these settings.
Yeah, because in default logic, it assumes that logic assumes that you need the Stone of Agony to find the hidden grottos. However, in basically all race settings ever, the trick is enabled to not require it. So what we mean by tricks, as well as an explanation, is that there is default logic, what the randomizer assumes by default for logic, and then you can turn on various tricks. For things that are a little too difficult to put into default logic, but if you can turn them on to make the logic a little less requiring things you don't really need to have. So things like Lensless Wasteland, Lensless Shadow Temple, Lensless GTG, all of that, which we do have mostly turned on except for Lensless Wasteland. There are things like not needing Stone of Agony for hidden grottos. Man on roof
Jumping
without
over
a hook
to
shot.
the man on roof in Kakariko without a hook shot, yeah,
Jinx.
or grabbing the Jinx, yeah, you're right, sorry.
The
or grabbing the
item.
windmill heart.
Go ahead.
Grabbing the windmill heart piece without Song of Time. What's I think the trick that is not a trick that is not enabled in these race settings is grabbing this particular item without a hammer and a bow, the vanilla boss key in Spirit Temple.
Technically, you're supposed to shoot an eye and hit a switch.
You're supposed to use the Megaton hammer to hammer some statues out of the way, then shoot the switch, and then the ring of fire around the boss key chest will disappear. Or you just walk into one of those lava slugs, have a few invincibility frames, and walk right through the ring of fire.
Yep.
Guess what most runners do?
Exactly. But yeah, that's what we refer to with tricks. These are all glitchless, still, keep in mind. But some of which are enabled, some of which are not. For example, one of the tricks that is definitely not on, and the technique is actually banned for competitive balance and for its difficulty, I think, on some level as well, is to enter Shadow Temple with the fire arrows. There requires some... you read a list of instructions technically for it, but it's a little bit finicky to actually get the timing down, as well as all the placements to light all however many torches there are at the Shadow Temple entrance with fire arrows, because Inspire lights them all at once. Fire arrows, it's challenging to light them all before one goes out. Supposedly not hard, but does require a decent controller. Yeah, and that can be something of a challenge. It's one of the more controversial tricks that is banned. One of the more controversial techniques that is banned in OOTR, but it is a thing. Yeah. I'm not even sure how doable FAE is for keyboard players like Fabio. I haven't asked. Fabio is back adult, and he's going to go beat Water Temple, I assume, at this point.
And I think there must have been a small key atop on the right hand at this point. So logically longshot locked.
With Sunblock
because that
not
was
an
just
item.
a small key in Sunblock room. Sorry, that was just a small chest, a junk item in Sunblock room. So, time for Cariosa to... Wait, did he drop for Roar's Wind?
He did.
Okay.
He was standing on the platform after dropping it from the top when he said that.
Okay. In that case, yeah, Cariosa is now headed to Lake to use the shortcut to get into Zora's domain here. Meanwhile, Fabio... Yeah, to do Jabu. Meanwhile, Fabio is grabbing his longshot off of Tektite Grotto. And I'm guessing we'll be headed into Water Temple before ever going Child again. Yep.
No reason not to, because he might be in go mode here. If he can find that boss key, he's done, he's going, he's out of here. If he finds out he can't get the boss key, then he's back to, where's Iron Boots? Road.
Yeah. So, Gold Scale Water. As we said before, not in logic, but allowed and useful.
Yep.
And 9 out of 10 chance to be able to find your boss key in here. Especially with a foolish water temple, it's very attractive.
Oh yeah. You know you don't have to worry about leaving an important item behind in Central Pillar, and that's always good. Because it sucks, Tilly. Because orphaning checks happens, but it doesn't feel good a lot of the time. And it's because
Yes,
it's always going to be in the back of your mind that, oh, I skipped this thing 2 hours ago. I really hope that's not what I need. That's assuming you remember it, because sometimes, you know, these seeds go 3 hours and you forget some things that you haven't done, and then you end up at the end of the seed. We do sometimes see people forfeit and are like, where was this thing again? And then they realize, oh, I forgot it. Oh,
Prox
Frog's 2 is
2
dead.
was that ice arrows?
I think that was ice arrows.
Right then.
Thanks, game. Thanks. Honestly,
Right, so
Cariosa would not have minded if that said Iron Boots, because that would put him in guaranteed go mode. And he's right
certainly.
here with all the items for it. He would have been, because he has all the songs for it. It would suck if it was there and he didn't have all the songs, but Frogs 2 would actually be nice if it was ours, because he can just go newer and do it. Not a frequent sentence to say he would have liked to see Frogs 2, but you know.
That's the kind of seed that sometimes shows up in qualifiers.
Yes, indeed.
So the first step to gold scale water is what Fabio did just there. Hook shot, or long shot rather, down towards those 2 torches that are just in reach. And grab those. Now he will lower the water level. He will side hop over using the hover boots and a precise, well, not precise, but a side hop over to the platform near the cracked wall. Probably peeked that and expected it to be a key.
Bomb 2's on Zora driving. Okay. I guess that works. He really doesn't need them at this point, but sure. It's not the boss key is the big thing at this point. He doesn't care what's in here if it's not the boss key.
Yeah, and as soon as he finds the boss key, he will bail out. That is all the small keys he needs. Technically, of course, in Water Temple, you would need up to 5 small keys. That's how the logic goes anyway, but with clever safe scumming, you don't need more than 2.
Yep, not necessary at all. But again, with the logic assumes you're an idiot and uses your keys in the worst way possible. It assumes you open all the other doors except for the one that you need.
Speaking of clever safe scumming, that is exactly what Fabio just did. Saved before using his... whoa! Bad timing there. Yeah. Saved before using his small key to get into this room.
Oh, and has now gotten whirlpooled. That feels bad.
Well, at least that resets the room.
Yeah, the room was not being nice to him, it seems. Feels bad. So, the other thing too is this is a little bit tricky to get this jump from this direction with just gold scale. Very nice. Because it's easy to not quite get it and have the current carry you back out.
Yeah, you need to jump off that ledge there. You can't just jump straight into the water and immediately resetting without saving, so he gets his 2 keys back.
Yep, because yeah, logic assumes for the 4th door, the first one, the one he saved before that, or the first door he saved before that, you need 4 keys, because the 5th one is behind it, so you can't possibly have wasted a 5th key there. It requires 4 keys for the first door, 5th for this, 5 for the second. The same goes for the Dark Link and River Loop chest, and in extremely rare cases, the Central Pillar of Water is also that. Very, very uncommon, but Central Pillar can also be that, because there is a key door there. No one ever uses it, but because you light the torches most of the time for that, but it can, in rare cases, come up that you need to enter Central Pillar with a key. And that is also 5 key lock for the same reason.
And that is another small key. We've seen 4 small keys so far in water.
Yep.
As we said before, Fabio is not picking those up because we don't need any more than 2. poke-shotting up back to the top level, and will raise the water level back up to get to Darklink, River Chests, and Dragon Chest.
Yes, if Fabio can clear water here, he's in go mode. If he can't, if it turns out he does everything but Central Pillar here and cannot find a boss key, then he is in oh no mode, where he has to go find his iron boots in
heaven knows where.
He's been a bit behind Cariosa this entire race due to being more thorough, but being more thorough did get him his gold scale, which, if gold scale water is doable here, might actually put him ahead of Cariosa. It's hard to say right now. But we'll find out in a few minutes where that boss key is, one way or the other. That is a big chest for Cariosa.
Let's see what it has. Zora Tunic. Logically required for Central Pillar, I might add.
But we already have both wallets.
Yeah.
But yes, speaking of Central Pillar, Iron Boots, and everything else, there's the Zora Tunic. Well, speaking of logical tricks that we have turned on in most races, one of the other ones is fewer tunic requirements. In default logic, you need a Zora Tunic to basically even get in the door of Water Temple, I think, if memory serves, and you also need one for all of Death Mountain Crater and some other things besides that. And all of Fire Temple. Ooh, another big chest
in Jabu.
Fewer tunic requirements lowers the need for a tunic, as we find things for the choose. But fewer tunic requirements, FTR for short, reduces the number of requirements. You will only need a tunic, Goron Tunic. The Goron Tunic is not required for Death Mountain Crater, and you can do the first floor and basement loop of Fire Temple without a tunic as well. Volvagia and the rest of Fire, as well as Fire Trial, are Goron Tunic locked. Water Temple, the toilet, the bottom of Zora's fountain are all in logic without Zora Tunic in FTR. The only thing that Zora Tunic is required for in that case is the Central Pillar, because it really is quite deep, and on 3 hearts is a bit too tight on timing. I think it might technically be possible, but it's really, really close.
Oh, that's the boss key.
Oh, that's
Fabio
really
is in coma.
Yeah, 2 hours in. Happy 2 hours, actually happy, because Fabio is in go mode here, confirmed. He is really happy to see that boss key, because that was his second to last location for it.
Yeah, he was sweating a little bit going into River, I bet, because, it would have been River Chest and Dragon Chest, and that would have been it for locations that he could have reached in Water Temple.
Now the question is for Cariosa, where is his Water Temple access? Well, because Skull Kid's kind of a terrible check. He skipped the out-of-the-way checks in Lost Woods earlier, so he never did the bridge scrub. But I don't know if he ever did read those FSFM. I don't know if he did Wolfo's Grotto, but Cariosa doesn't really have a good reason to go back to Lost Woods, in all honesty, at this point. And that might be a bit problematic at this rate.
Yeah, Iron Boots are confirmed DLC in this seed. From the point of view of Fabio, anyway.
He has no idea where they are, and he could not care less. He's in go mode, and he's going. Very, very nice Morpha fight, where you can get Morpha trapped into a corner and speed up the fight considerably with crouch stabs, particularly with BGS, and save the whole shenanigans with the tendrils and being thrown around and the everything else. You just snag her immediately and finish it off real fast. You can even do so on the door if you're really quick about it, but that is a little bit more dangerous than the corner strat. And
easier
that's
for
it.
Morpha to get away.
Yep. And that is it for Fabio. Nice Morpha fight. Doesn't need a heart piece, and he's out of here.
What's
so
left
he's
for
got
Fabio? Spirit Temple and Jabu. He will go child now, finish Jabu off, and get his Requiem. Do Child Spirit, and then go Adult Spirit, I would assume.
I would assume so. Let's see. Keys. Child Side, Compass, Adult Climb. That'll be a really quick spirit, too. Because he'll get a small key and boss key together in a small key and the boss key together in Child Spirit. He'll get one from Compass Chest. And then Adult Climb will be his third, and you only need 3 keys to go mode Spirit, so that'll be really fast for him.
Yep.
So Nova will still take forever, and you still need to go up to the top and spin the mirrors around and all that, but it is relatively fast to go mode. It'll still be another 20-something minutes before he's done, though. Jabu, even in go mode, still takes a while, and there's no save. You still have to go get the OOT song, do Child Spirit, then do Adult Spirits, and then go do Ganon's Castle, which is like itself another like 6 minutes for the climb. It's not the fastest.
That being said, 2 hours 30 minutes, or thereabouts, for an all-dungeon seed, not too shabby.
Not at all.
So Cariosa, on his side, on his end of things, is a bit... I'm not going to say on the clock, obviously, because this isn't a one-on-one, this is a qualifier. But he's in a bit of a more of an, as you said, oh no mode, because where in the world are those iron boots? He's wondering.
Yeah, because I don't think he'll... Unless he really, really wants to make sure that he doesn't leave anything behind at all in Child, I don't know how he gets the Skull Kid. He might, just to make sure he cleans it up, but I don't know what the odds are of it.
If he does, I think the way for him to get there would be to walk out of Zora's Fountain through Domain and out into River, but I'm not sure if...
That would be his best route, I just don't know if he will. If he doesn't, I mean, Ice Cavern's a decent idea. Yeah, he has Deep Fire. His options aren't good at this point, to be clear. I'm just not sure where he will go. And then Baronade. I was kind of hoping Irons might have been there just so to put him in go mode, because it always feels bad when he just... Skull Kid's just not a fun check, because you can't possibly do it with the rest of Lost Woods in Child 1, and when do you get back there? It's a bit of a tough choice. Like, Fabio routed it in after Child River, while Cariosa rushed Magic and immediately to Shadow, which also made sense, but that means he's left his gold scale behind, and I don't know when he's getting it. If ever, as we find it.
Cariosa is checking further things here in Zora's Fountain, though, so not immediately warping back out.
Yeah, there are one or two overworld checks left, 20 skulls. Cariosa at least will not be able to get into Ganon's castle and get made by anything in there, as we find a bloopy off this fairy fountain. 20 skulls. I don't think we ever saw the Hyrule Castle fairy fountain, now that I think about it.
No,
and
we
that
didn't.
is
The other was too late. Was too late in the seed for that, basically.
I don't think either of them ever quite had a time of day for Dante digging, which is might be where Cariosa's going right now.
Yup.
Dante digging 20 skulls. Hyrule Castle Fairy of Strength 3 shows up somewhere. That's the outside Ganon's Castle Fairy. The outside Ganon's Castle Fairy. Crater Fairy exists now. EMT Fairy. Basically all the fairy fountains. And Dante is not.
On refill.
Yeah. But there is the Ice Cavern. It's not Fountain Fairy, it's not Icy Waters. It could be the Iceberg, it could be King Zora.
Princess Rudo slipping off the switch here.
She is not cooperating right now. There we go. Already turned in 10 Cariosa, and nope. That is not it for Cariosa, and he is playing Prelude.
That doesn't look like a river play to me.
No. Do you know where it is? Have you seen Richard?
I don't think we have. So that might be something that Cariosa is looking into. But no, he's going adult.
Yeah, chat confirming, because I don't think either of them were in market as in market as at night. We have not seen Ice Cavern. That is probably where Curious is going, is the
Yeah, I think
place for the
that's one of
quickest
his
number of a lot of checks.
one of his denser locations right now is Zora's Fountain and Ice Cavern combined. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 items in Ice Cavern. It's
5 of the song. It's 5 checks in Ice with the song. Icebergs is 6.
right,
And
yeah,
Kingsword
sorry.
Is 7.
Yeah, Iceberg Ferry we have already seen. Yeah, Unfreezing the King is number 7. Right, yeah. As well as we can see, passing through here, looking at Crater Ferry, might also do DMT Ferry while he's on the way.
Trail's Foolish, I just remembered.
Trail's
so
Foolish, yeah.
That. I'd honestly forgotten, because our Foolish hits have been not the best. And that is not it.
We've never seen that third Foolish hint, have we?
No, we did not. Don't think it would be all that useful at this point, but we never did see it. To clarify, since I'm not actually 100% sure we ever explained what Foolish hints are, they are essentially the counterpart to Way of the Hero hints. So, big chest. Yes, I don't think we ever saw this grotto. There's the other copy of Water Foolish, so we definitely didn't see this grotto. And...
There's our logic! The lens
There's
of
a
truth,
lens.
everybody!
I was vaguely wondering where that went off to. Thanks. Curious never saw the last Way of the Hero hint, so he's probably looking for that as he gets Steve Frog's 2 hint instead. But I guess that's our logic for a Wasteland Crossing. We were running out of lens checks, logical checks of the lens, but as mentioned, they could not care less, so meh. And the hint here is Goron City is still Way of the Hero. Thanks.
I think that's the first that Cariosa sees of it, though.
Yeah.
He never went upriver.
No, he went upriver, found the hint, and went to Goron City, remember?
Oh, you're right.
He's missing the GTG Way of the Hero, which he doesn't care about because that was Hoverboot.
Oh, that was that way that was around. Okay, yeah, cool. Continuing his way to Ice Cavern, we presume.
There's not really anywhere else he'd be going right now with this route, so makes sense.
While Fabio is steadily making his way through Jabu Jabu.
Yep.
He has at this point made his way to Baronate's anteroom, so anteroom is probably the right pronunciation there. Really nice and clean boomerang throw straight to that switch up there, and into the Baronate fight we go. Cariosa, by virtue of having moved King Zora with the ladder already, does not need to worry about King Zora skip, which is a nice little trick that enables us to get past King Zora while he's still sitting in front of the entrance to Zora's Fountain as an adult.
Yep, trick discovered by accident in late 2020 while a couple of people were messing around in a Scrubs VC, I think. Where someone did a series of, for whatever reason, somehow ended up just doing a series of backflips and just accidentally hopping on the fence, and was like, wait, how did I do that? And then they would proceed to spend like the next hour trying to replicate it.
Yep.
And it became infamous soon after that.
Yep. Was banned for the remainder of Season 4. And really, really shook up the meta during Season 5 and beyond tournaments.
Yep. Actually, we're jumping on the fence while trying to run around King Zora. Sounds about right. Something like that. Yeah, it was a bunch of friends playing a multi-world together of some kind, and, just jumped on the fence by accident and then wondered how they got there.
TNT, I see what you did there and I applaud you for it.
Good fun. Felix managed to replicate it about half an hour later, and then by the end of the evening there was a setup. Yeah, something like sounds about right, Mara.
I mean, with a trick that is as powerful as that, you can bet that a setup will definitely follow quickly after an accidental discovery like that.
Oh yeah.
People immediately realize the utility that such a powerful trick, such a obvious logic breaker like this can have. So.
Oh, you were actually there, Mara? I forgot. Yeah, she was apparently there, and they were all going, wait, is this known? Apparently someone in the speedrun communities had found it by accident at some point way before. But it's not really relevant to speedruns because there's a pretty easy clip to do instead that you can bypass King's Aura with. Naturally, that's banned in these settings. And glitchless speedruns, that jump is not relevant, so no one ever thought to look further into it, and the trick was forgotten all about for however long it was, until someone discovered it by accident while playing random.
And there we go. That is Jabu Jabu done for Favio. Now headed into Spirit Temple to get that small key and boss key, and then probably going straight adult again. Because you don't need to spend more time in Spirit Temple as a child than you absolutely need to. Or you don't want to spend more time there as a child than you absolutely need to. Especially considering he's in go mode and he can be done with this dungeon as quickly as finding 3 keys.
Which we know are pretty quick. And yes, Favio is firmly in the lead. Even if Cariosa finds Iron Boots at the end of Ice Cavern, he still has to do basically all of water. River Chest is not a great place for boss key. And then go Child, get the small key and boss key, and then go back to adult for finishing Spirit, and that takes time. Even though he has done most of Spirit, that's not enough to make up for the difference, even if he got the Iron Boots here in Ice Cavern. But I do kind of hope that they are here in Ice for him, because that would be really nice.
Yep. Also a nice occasion to post any vanilla emotes that you may have in chat, because that would be very vanilla if we find the Iron Boots in the next check.
Yeah. Specifically in the chest. The song would be funny too. Yeah, we're gonna have almost a completely full tracker for Cariosa. Other than the adult trade quest item, I think he's found everything else in the seed. Or he will have found everything else and gotten all the dungeon rewards too. He doesn't currently have it all, but he will. Good old tracker percent. Ooh.
Oh.
And
nope, that wasn't it.
That's a really disappointing. That's a really disappointing third slingshot. I mean, third slingshot's never exciting, but this is really disappointing in particular.
Yep, Cariosa now really just in oh-no mode, wondering where the Iron Boots or a gold scale can be. Meanwhile, Favio is about to show us Go Mode Adult Spirit.
Yep. He's going to get a key off Compass, a key off Adult Climb, and he's going to head right on up.
Yep. Not gonna worry about any other part of Spirit Temple here and just walk straight to the key doors to Twinrova.
Yep. Twinrova herself, of course, is one of the longest boss fights in the game, but there's not much we can do about that. King Sora is also dead. And Bolero makes sense for Cariosa. Deepfire sucks, but it's by far the best play for density he has left in this seed.
The best among the worst.
Pretty much. Big shoutouts to Cariosa having done quite a lot of checks. He hasn't done a lot of the out-of-the-way checks like Skull Kid, 20 Skulls, things like that, but he has done a lot Herald Castle Fairy Fountain. But he has done a lot of checks in 2 hours and 17 minutes.
I think Cariosa has done what we call a world tour. Visited every dungeon and every side dungeon, as well as all overworld location at this point.
Just about, yeah. He's at least passed through every overworld area in the game. I don't hate this fireplay, quite frankly. This is the most likely place to have iron boots. There's very little left in this seed.
Yeah. It is definitely the most reasonable location to be in now. It's the most dense location he has left.
There really isn't much. JSL just doesn't like fire at all. Heck, I mean, fair, but yeah.
And that is what we mean by Go Mode Spirit. Just turn right at the BMOS and immediately go up this sliding wall.
And head for the top.
Yep, head for the top, turn the mirrors, get down in front of the face of the statue. Melt that off, and you're into your Twin Rover boss fight.
Yep. You're going at a pretty good pace here.
Big chess.
That's Strength 3! OGC exists now.
Yeah, outside Ganon's Castle Ferry. One single check that unlocks right now, and Cariosa was taking a moment to think about it and decided, no, I'm continuing.
It's a tough one, because it could be it, but if it's not, you have to get all the way back here. You have to get all the way there, then come all the way back. Correction.
And yes, Prelude exists and Bolero exists, but it's still a good 2 or 3 minute time investment to get there and back.
Yeah, even if you save scum, it's still just bleh. Even if you save scum, you still have to walk back into the lava room, which is... yeah. Either play would be understandable, and I don't fault Cariosa for not doing that. Yeah, the game continuing to just give us every big chest that's not it. Like, looking at our notes sheet, we are missing one bow, the second magic meter, which we know is locked by the first, so I'm guessing it's in Ganon's castle. We're missing the adult trade quest item, and we're missing iron boots, and that's it. As far as I can see right
left
now.
in this seed, yeah.
And we even know where Ice Arrows, Nair's Love, and the Stone of Agony are, things that aren't on the notes sheet. Just, you know, find everything. Oh, go everywhere, do everything, and find all, and fill up your entire inventory.
Yeah. Randomizer, did you mean 100%?
Yeah, randomizer speedruns can sometimes be any... You try to do an any percent of every randomizer seed. Sometimes it ends up looking more like 100% run instead. Because this is turning into 100%, or like maybe 95%. I did some loose overworld checks for Cariosa at this point. He also never did big pose.
That bowlock check needs to be a key at this point for him to continue.
Yep. Twin Rova is not being nice to Fabio. Jeez.
Unsurprising.
Yep. Longest boss fight in the game.
The two are known as Troll Rova for a good reason.
Yeah. Oh no. Alexander Harold suggesting in chat if Lab Dive had the irons. That would be...
That would be one of the few ways, besides Tektite Grotto, that you can actually hard require a gold scale in a seed.
Yep. Those are, in fact, the only ways to logically require a gold scale in these settings is Lab Dive and Tektite Grotto. There are some other things, for example, if you enable gold scale water, or if you have a number, if you have one of a number of different things on that could make doing things in water with a gold skill relevant, then it might come up. But at the moment, not really. TNT with more puns. But with each new check here in Fire, I just feel bad for Karius at this one. He's played well. He was ahead for a good chunk of the seed by not being quite as thorough as Fabio. Unfortunately, that thoroughness did eventually pay off for Fabio, and Cariosa is hurting for it because these iron boots are deep. Wherever they are, they're not available quickly.
Yeah, not in a kind location.
Nope.
There's Ganon's boss key for Fabio, and he's gonna go straight up and make himself some bacon.
Yeah, Cariosa's been executing very as well also, which is to be expected from the winner of Season 5. He's executed well, he's done his pretty typical playstyle, which is to rush progression and not do long out-of-the-way checks like Skull Kid, which often does pay off for him, as we can tell by his turn record. It just isn't his day today, it seems, unfortunately. So, do know that this is a 15-minute delay, but I have been keeping an eye on the race time, and there were no finishers at the 2-hour 24 mark. So Fabio could be in a spot to take first place here.
Yeah, we'll see.
And that is Fire Temple done for Cariosa. And at this point, he really is out of dense place to go to. I think this will be OGC Ferry, and then we'll see where he goes next, because... momentary wait, where am I going? Yeah, he's like, I think he was about to go child, and he remembered, wait, I have a check to do, don't go child yet.
One more thing before I go child.
Yep. Because at this point, he really has run out of stuff. He's run out of good options. Now he's even run out of the moderately lousy options, which I would classify a deep player as, and now he's just down to the this sucks options.
Which is some random out-of-the-way overworld chick having his progression.
Yep.
I wonder where those iron boots are. I would like to know.
Might be able to ask Fabio to check a few places for us once he joins us in an interview. Because I will laugh if it's on that time. It could be there. It could be... You know, here's a really stupid thought. It could be shoot the sun.
Oh, ew. That would be very rude. But... oh god, because that is another way a gold scale would be hard required.
In this seed, because long shot's required for shoot the sun and long shot is gold scale or iron's locked.
Either long shots required for shoot the sun or being able to clear water temple, so...
Yeah.
Yeah,
effectively you need to be able to get to the platform, which is either Scarecrow, long-shotting to Scarecrow, or beating Morpha in these settings, which also requires a long shot. So, and long shot tonight is sitting on the bottom of the Teknite Grotto, so that's some fun. This looks like big pose for Cariosa, which makes sense.
Yeah, a few more adult cleanup checks, then he's going child, cleaning up that. Ugh. Is probably just about his mood right now.
Probably. He does not have a face cam, but I doubt he feels any kind of good right now at this. He is trying to save time and not use Epona, and that is not working.
Yeah, small.
It is a 40%. Yeah, it is a 40% chance of spawning a big Poe on foot. It is not in default logic. You can turn it on with a trick, but that is not on. Just because it does kind of suck a bit.
If you get on the back of the horse, the spawn chance for a big Poe increases to 100%.
If going out on foot and getting a big Poe the first time does save time over summoning a Poe and then getting on her, but after that it's less. Hello?
Hello, Poe, would you spawn, please? There we go.
There
we go. That is a crummy location. There we go.
Yeah.
And here is Ganon for Fabio.
Yep. Still no finishers.
Yep, might very well make first place in this qualifier.
To note that we did have 23 entrants today, so we will be using the top 5, I think, here for the part time. But being in first place guarantees Fabio a very nice amount of high 90s. The cap is 110 points, so likely below 100, which will be really nice. Qualifiers point scoring does drop the highest and lowest scores if you do 5 qualifiers, so but if Fabio does very well in his next 2 qualifiers, which he might not need to do more than that, because this will put him. This is a very nice score. This is going to be a very nice score for him in the high 100. What I think will probably be the low 100 at first place. He got a very nice 89.74 points yesterday, so between those two, he's in a pretty good spot right now.
Yes, indeed. Almost. I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to make any predictions that might turn sour, but not in a bad spot to make brackets even with just 3 qualifiers. That being said, get your GGs in chat for Fabio, who it looks like is indeed making first place. Yep, making first place with a time of 2:29 and 4 seconds.
GGs.
GGs. 4, and I need to repeat this, an all-dungeon seed. That is an accomplishment.
Yes, it is. GGs.
Cariosa is continuing to check Zelda's Lullaby log checks here. Now is headed to Lost Woods and might find his gold scale soon, if he does indeed clear that.
Yep.
Alright. If I recall correctly, Cariosa has clean audio as well, so we can switch to his audio, right?
Yes, we can. That'll be on the bottom of the tracker dashboard as well.
Yep. I've clicked the button, and here we go. Cariosa is checking some more child checks in this area. Let's see if he carries this into the one check that he needs, which is Skull Kid.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. There's his gold scale. That's in his mind. Yeah. Angry Shield flicks quite a few. Not happy about what he found there. And we know this is go mode in favor of Cariosa. For Cariosa, he will obviously find that out once he actually finds his boss key in Water Temple.
Well, he knows he's guaranteed for it.
Does he?
Or, actually, no, he does not. No, sorry, I thought he got irons for some stupid reason.
Right. And I think that was Discord crashing on me, but I should be back now.
You are back. Welcome back.
All right, and that is, as I said, Cariosa in at least a tentative go mode.
Yep.
And on the way to Tektite Grotto first, then Water Temple second. And we are joined by first place in this qualifier, Fabio. GG's.
Hello. GG.
GG's.
2 hours, 29 minutes for an all-dungeon seed. That's honestly quite impressive.
Yeah. It was very nice AD.
I mean, I recall that you must have been sweating a bit in Water Temple, considering you made it all the way to River Chest before finding that boss key.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the second to last check there.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about that.
Otherwise, this yeah. Otherwise, this seed really was kind of on rails, right? It
I think the... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think that the Tektite Grotto is the most important thing for me. Is I usually don't check them on my way, but I feel like I kind of have to, just in case. I was going to GTG. And the other thing was the scale and Skull Kid, if I remember correctly. Was
yeah, Skull Kid had the
yeah.
Skull Kid had your gold scale. Before that, Lower River had your silver scale, and both of these were checks that Cariosa, I think, postponed for quite a bit. If I recall correctly, I'm a bit fuzzy on it, but I think you were the first one on Restream to find the silver scale as well. And Cariosa has, on Restream, just 2 minutes ago or 3 minutes ago, finally found his gold scale after going deep fire first. Which was absolutely reasonable, doing ice and deep fire in his position, because it was very check-dense locations, but...
Yeah, I was about to bail after the magic in Goron City, but I guess there were two quick checks: the storms in Kokiri and Skulkin just in case. But turned out that worked very well for me.
Yeah, definitely a lucky break there.
Yeah, it's because I usually don't like to take many risks. I'm fine playing safe in most seats.
Yeah, I think you were in general a bit more thorough than Cariosa among the two runners on Restream. Definitely the more thorough one.
Yeah.
You ended up. Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, Fabio, you were generally more thorough throughout the early parts of the seed. You cleared out Child Lake, you did more of Child Lost Woods, you did Kokiri Sword Chest and Lost Woods Bridge Scrub, both of which Cariosa skipped. I believe you did Goron City earlier than Cariosa, some other things, which put you, I think, at one point about a
Forest Temple and some GTG behind, yeah.
Yeah, that. Good timing. But then eventually that gold scale let you catch up and pass Cariosa, because Cariosa did everything else besides did almost everything else in the seed before finding gold scale.
Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't
It's
much
unfortunate.
left.
We never did actually see iron boots. We're kind of curious where those are. There's not much left. They're not in deep fire. They're not on OGC because Strength 3 was in Fire Temple. Let's see, they were chickens. If you want, Fabio, do you want to check where what lab dive and shoot the sun had? Oh, Angle says
No?
in chat that he knows where there are. Speaking of, GG's to Angle. Minor spoilers in chat. GG's also to Gavaroni, who finished second, 231.37, and spoilers Angle, who finished third at 239.16. GG's. So where were the irons then? I'd actually like to know.
Yeah, I am curious.
Shoot the sun.
Oh, that is rude.
Wow!
That is very rude.
God.
We were talking about this earlier. This means gold scale was actually required logically.
Not just logically, that was hard required. You can't get long shot without gold scale or iron boots, and iron boots were long shot.
Wow!
Oh gosh.
That is so bad.
Okay.
That is a truly terrible spot for iron. Okay, that explains a lot.
That does explain a lot. Ew.
Yeah. Angle apparently did water. I assume went back child and got Skull Kid early and then did water early, which is how he knows how he knows the sun is the iron
Wow.
boot. That is bad. That explains a lot, but that's also just so.
Oh yeah, among the runners in chat by now, has anyone seen our last Foolish Hint? We've seen Trail and Water.
Yep. I do kind of want to know. GG's as well too. Zephyr. Well, actually, a bit ahead of time. Okay, holding up on that. Yeah. Oh man. Domain was the last
Domain.
foolish per a couple people in chat. Okay.
Oh man. Okay.
Go figure.
Well then.
What a helpful hint.
So in summary then, you played slightly more thorough than Cariosa did. You had, gotta say, excellent execution throughout the entire seed. But in general, I would also say, after that initial dungeon rush, finding not really much of value in GTG, and then finding that Goron City way of the hero leading us to magic. This seed was kind of on rails, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I need to step up for a bit.
Sorry,
okay.
do you want me to repeat the question, or do you,
Yeah, please. Yeah, my mom
Oh, okay.
told me for a bit, but no, I'm okay now.
Cool.
But yeah,
So what
yeah, go ahead, Tobias.
Yeah, what I was saying was that the seed was kind of on rails after you found the magic in Goron City, right? Let you into a Shadow Temple, which gave you Ruro's Letter, which gave you Jabu, which, well, the only real curveball this seed ended up being that scale, or those two scales really, that were required on in the river and on Skull Kid. Crucially on Skull Kid, because both Zelda's Lullaby and Saria's were kind of late. You probably didn't have that the first time you were on your way through Lost Woods.
No.
Yeah, it was kind of great doing River as child, getting that scale, and immediately go to Goron City after.
Yeah. GG's, I'd like to. Okay, so Kyrgios is done with water, and I'm going to catch up a bit on finishes again. GG's to Zephyr, 4th place now, in chat as well, 241.05. And we've got more finishes coming up.
In just a bit.
The hints were nice though, I think. Especially the Child Spirit one was, and combined with the Wet Green and Ocarina of Time.
Oh, the Child Spirit hint was
Yeah.
was one of the greatest hints to get this seed, I think. Right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I kind of messed up a little bit because I forgot when I was doing quarterback archery, then I was dead. And I remember.
Actually, both of you on Restream did that to various degrees. Cariosa just hit the no button before starting horseback archery, and you ended up playing a game and then remembering, as it seemed midway through, oh wait, this is foolish.
Yeah,
This
we
is
saw
not
you
required.
realize. Yeah, we saw the moment where you realize, like, midway through, wait, this ain't it, and just shoots the arrows off randomly.
Yeah.
Funny moment for stream, for sure.
Yeah.
It was more like a rush, in some way, some dungeons at the end.
Yeah, it was a mad dungeon rush. Once kind of that.
Yeah, the only thing is the Sector and Rocket. Those are the two maybe easily to isolate or I guess.
I think Tektite Grotto you at least peak with Epona early and on your way to GTG. Yeah, Skull Kid was definitely easy to isolate. I would agree. Well, the other hints, Kakariko, Way of the Hero, who would have thunk?
Yep.
Well, Way of the Hero was really useful, I think.
Yeah,
well, useful and not. It gave you nothing immediately useful, but knowing that you had to go there was certainly helpful. Any other hints that stood out particularly to you?
Well, for me, like a personal thing, Valley. Didn't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good info, certainly. Cariosa not having the best time.
I don't have frogs, I think. Frogs 2.
Frogs 2 was hinted in Zora's Domain and at the crater wall, Favio. It has the ice arrows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, didn't end up mattering, but it wasn't too... If you had to, it wasn't too bad, since you had all the songs for it, eventually. Cariosa is getting trolled in Child Spirit right now. Had some trouble in the first room, and now isn't having fun either.
Yeah, that boomerang was not being cooperative.
No. But here is going to be his boss key once he lights the torches up. As well, catching up on finishes some more here at 2:47. GG still less Clay 2:45.23, Fant 2:45.47, and here's the boss key for Cariosa.
Yep, time to go adult. Fight Twin Rover and then go up to Ganon's castle. That's all that's left for him.
Yeah, Spirit. Cariosa dipped Adult Spirit earlier, Fabio. He found absolutely nothing in there, unfortunately, because he did this before Jabu. Because he did Shadow. He then went Spirit, hoping to get Irons to do Spirit, then get Jabu and Child Spirit done together. Did not work out, but his Spirit will be faster since he already finishing Spirit will be fast for him since he has Furores in there. Furores win, by the way, Fabio. Wasteland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never went to Magic. Yeah.
Yep.
We saw that on Cariosa's side when he did a bit of adult cleanup before going child for Jabu, I think.
Yeah, Wasteland one was on his way back to Adult Spirit when he set Furores Tobias.
Oh right, yeah.
One question.
Mhm.
Yes.
Did my stream went well?
Yeah.
Your stream was great. No problems at all.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
I know your internet is not the best, but no problems today.
No, I got a new computer recently, and I started to try it out, and I was thinking that it was more my other computer that was messing up on my connection.
Maybe, yeah. And your new computer worked very well. No problems from our end.
Yeah,
Clear audio, no
Okay,
frame
thanks.
drops.
nice. I'm really grateful.
Yeah.
'Cause I hate it when I lose frames and stuff.
Hmm.
Understandable. So, I think this seed was just in general. I mean, it was at least upfront about being one, all dungeons, and two, the Requiem placement being absolutely in the worst possible spot. But still, these two things definitely were things that made the seed challenging. I would say a good qual seed, because a good practice seed as well, because in the end you end up going everywhere and doing everything almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. That was very interesting. Yeah.
Right, and that is Cariosa done with Twin Rover.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Fabio, first place today, going to get you a lot of points. We'll post the results this evening after everyone is done, but you will probably get at least 100 points from this.
Well, yeah.
You are 2
Yeah,
minutes ahead of second place, 10 minutes ahead of third place. It might be top 4 or top 5 for part-time. Calculation will be done later, but being 2 minutes ahead of second and 10 minutes ahead of third, you will have a lot of points, and you got 89 points yesterday, so you're in a good place to make top 32 if you get another good score for your third qualifier.
yeah. Thanks. Unfortunately, just I'm not able to join any of the weekday qualifiers. Just only have weekends try to play. But yeah, I was kind of happy because yesterday I got like double sniped in the qualifier yesterday.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a nice change. Yeah, you got sniped by 11 and 5 seconds yesterday. That felt bad.
Yeah.
And now, GG's, and so your next call will be what, next weekend?
I hope so. Probably.
Yeah, good luck.
Saturday, yeah. Thank you.
I'm out of questions here.
Yeah, that is my problem as well. I think all that's left for me is to say thank you so much for agreeing to be restreamed and putting on a heck of a show, because that was certainly an impressive performance.
Yeah. And, that is it. If you want to stay until and chat with Cariosa, Fabio, you can, but if you want to go and eat dinner or whatever else, you may do that.
No, I can wait. I have lunch before this
Nice.
race. I'm not hungry or anything.
Cool. Well, then let's turn our attention back to Cariosa for a moment, who is just about to reach Ganon's boss chamber.
Yeah.
I see the lens from Cariosa. Where?
Oh, the
Wow.
lens.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
That was the Crater Grotto in
Oh.
DMC.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got Bolero. Because you had Bolero, so you got Nocturne right away, and then you just never needed to go back
Yeah.
for the Grotto,
Okay,
so
yeah.
you didn't. And that's where the lens was for logic. And with a delay, we do know that Cariosa will not be joining us for interview once he is done here in a few minutes. Looks like, on the other hand, though, GG's to some more runners. I think the last person I announced was Ant. So, GG's to Wafu, 7th, 248.07, Alfalfa, 8th, 253, Red, 9th, 250.44, Purple Rupees, 10th, 251.22, Pyra, 12th, 254.59, King Samson is 13th, 255.59, and then, it looks like Curioso might be next. Lots of close finishers here. Not surprised in a seed where you go everywhere and do everything. Generally, finishes end up being pretty close. Rating chat, it does sound like a lot of people went Deep Fire. It was actually some people's first strength upgrade.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was in the lava room, so I guess it's not too bad to get. There was a key by Volvagia, it's just interesting for how that went.
Alright, that is phase done of Ganon fight. Done for Cariosa. Now all that's left to do is slice us and dice us some final boss of the game. And that should be it. One more hit. There we go. Get your GGs in chat for Cariosa, who is finishing this all dungeon seed with a required gold scale, no matter how you spin it.
Yep. With
A time of 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 15 seconds.
GG's. Sniping Zavi, who finished 2 seconds later, 2:58.17.
Oh no. And also sniping Mr. Martin, who finished a whole 20 seconds later with 2:58.39. That's 15th place for Mr. Martin.
Yep.
No.
And lots of
Sorry.
close finishes. Yeah, and no problem. Fabio, what? And Carrios is checking through the sun. He wants to know where Iron Boots are.
Oh no!
Like,
He's gonna be mad.
Oh, he is going to be very mad at this, these irons. And there they are! Iron Boots, everyone, on Shoot the Sun!
The randomizer did done do it again.
Yep! Yeah, if anyone wants to chat about the seed in Discord as well, I just created a thread in the SGL Discord as well as, there they are. Cariosa has found his Iron Boots and is just going to stare at them as, he is done with this seed.
Very done, I think.
Yeah, because he understandably decided he does not feel like joining an interview. But GG's to him all the same as well. Also, his point calculation will not be the best for him, unfortunately, because he's almost 30 minutes behind you, Fabio. But he did get a 102.97 points yesterday, so he's still in a pretty good spot. Even though today's performance was not as excellent. Unfortunately, Rando was Rando.
Randomizer did randomize. Cariosa did ice, Savi.
Yep. One of the reasons why he, in fact, is finishing in just under 3 hours is that he went everywhere in this seed.
Yep. Good old world tour.
Yep,
but I think that
indeed.
just about wraps us up here, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I don't have much else to say. Any last words, Fabio or Tobias, before I outro?
I would just like to say thank you to Fabio and Cariosa both for putting on the heck of a show. Follow our runners at twitch.tv/Cariosa and twitch.tv/Fabio1494, if I got that right.
9414 and Cariosa is
9414.
plural on TSN. Bot's also not working again, so I'm just going to post it
Oh.
manually in chat.
Tried to do that from memory and failed grandiosely, but there we go. Fabio and Cariosa's Twitch accounts are now on right in chat. Thank you also, obviously, to our trackers, Miraba and Baseball, for helping us keep an eye on what is going on in this seed, and helping you all keep an eye on that by keeping the trackers on stream up to date. And thank you to Sigma6 and for helping set up this restream, and thank you to Star, my co-commentator.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So give us all a follow as well if anyone wants to get up ping for updates, volunteer for restreams, and anything else involving this tournament. Since the bot is still not functioning, I will post a link to the SGL Discord manually, and you may join those over there and get updates, because that is also where the results, where there is a thread to continue discussing the results of this interesting seed. But that shall be it for us. This will be the last of the OTR for today on Speed Gaming. The next one coming up, next qualifier will be this Tuesday in a couple of days. We'll have qualifier number 3 at 3 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. CEST.
Correct.
That will be on one of the Speed Gaming channels. And then channel to be decided. And then the one after that will be an NA qualifier Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. If y'all want to join us then, we hope to see you there as I post the schedule in chat. And that shall be it for us. I have not much else to say, and thank you for watching all. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks for restreaming.